Hello, love wrestling. It is Thursday night. It is 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another episode of Between Two Beards. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Thursday here. Pluggo.
Hey, it's me.
It's actually been a little bit since I've seen you. You know, we didn't do the sidecast last night, but how you doing? How you been? I already see Spencer in the chat.
Too bad.
I'm going to apologize right off the bat because we did not see that before this very moment. So yeah, I will that's all.
Sure. This is why we weren't sure.
We weren't sure. But before we bring on the person that we blew the budget on this week, Pluggo, how you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing well, and I knew this was. But I saw at LPW 7 this past Friday,
which was a good one.
There was fireworks at said show.
They were.
So I assumed budgets were out the window.
Especially if Spencer's allowing fireworks. We all know how much Spencer hates fireworks.
I took that. I'm going to take it all. We took that as.
Oh, don't try to throw me under the bus.
Hey, this was your get to this week. I had nothing to do with this. The only other thing I'll say before we bring our guest on, because I don't want him to get involved because this is gang warfare. But Mitch Clark, my man, if you want to come on beer and talk about your actions on taking our girl Taryn down, we need to know why.
He did do that. I was upset. I would say I was upset. Taryn from accounting is our girl. We love Taryn. Longest reigning LPW Challenge champion of all time, but it sadly came to an end at LPW 7.
At the hands of Mitch Clark, which we
Mitch
love.
Clark's been to the show too, been on the show before too, but
I got to know Mitch, so you have an open invitation to show up on Beards whenever you'd like. We'll talk it out. Anyway, let's get down to business.
Pluggo, bring him on.
All right. The man, the myth, the legend. Hopefully the check cleared because he's already got some things lined up. Mr. Jeff Hawkins is in the house.
How we doing, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Nope. Spencer originally offered me the usual hot dog and Coke from the concession stand, but I'd like to thank both of you for putting the down payment on a new dimmer.
Yeah, I mean, we had to do what we got to do. Oh, here we go. And now Spencer already starting. Where we are gonna get the. We're gonna be in the office tomorrow. I mean, that's
don't lowball Jeff Hawkins like that.
Well, with inflation was gonna be 2 hot dogs and a Coke. That was just gonna break the entire promotion, unfortunately.
Oh my god! But how are we doing, my friend?
Doing okay. Looking forward to it because this is
There's a lot.
This is like a Brazilian steakhouse talk between 3 wrestling events and then NFL talk.
Yeah. This is going to be a doozy. This is going to be a doozy. A lot of picks. A lot of
plan to sleep this weekend.
I know. I mean, I'm going to have to get my rest tonight because tonight and tomorrow because starting Saturday it's.
If you're also if you're a college football fan, it gets into full swing this weekend. I know last weekend there were some games, but this weekend there's some.
This is like the first opening.
Week 0 is a clown show. Let's face it.
I hate Week 0.
It was nice. It was nice to see Northwestern just ruin Nebraska's season even before the real season started.
I was watching that game, and my first thought was Northwestern, Nebraska. That screams game in Dublin, Ireland. And then like Scott Frost just looked like a guy that knew I'm done. And then Northwestern's like, hey, we're gonna just go ahead and Do it now.
I root for nerd schools in football because everybody else.
Harvard and Yale.
Well, I mean, the ones in actual like Power 5, like Vanderbilt, Virginia, Duke. I went to Virginia, so I root hard for them.
Yeah. Oh man, what a time! But yeah, that's starting this week.
Notre Dame, Ohio State this Saturday night. It's gonna be rough.
Well, you think your season's gonna, because you live in South Bend, you're a Notre Dame fan.
It's gonna be.
You think your season's ending in week 1 here?
I don't. It doesn't look good because I think
catching them early though.
We are catching them early.
Where's Ohio State ranked though? I'm assuming you're the top, right?
5,
yeah, they usually always are.
Yeah, knock each other out type deal. But if we lose this early and we keep,
I was going to say, if you lose early and then win out, by the time you get there, the momentum could be behind you.
I like Ohio State's offense a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm worried, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
We know Ohio State's season is they do well in the regular season. They get to the playoff tournament and get blown out first.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like Notre Dame.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's very Notre Dame like as well. That's
I live that life.
Common thread there in Ohio State, Notre Dame. All right, but like Jeff, like you said, this weekend is loaded, and we got the 3 of us here. We're gonna talk Clash at the Castle. We're gonna talk When Worlds Collide. We're going to talk All Out, which has 14 matches on All Out.
Is that a 12-hour card?
It's 14 matches, and Tony Khan on the media call today said they might even be adding more tomorrow on Rampage. So
Tony Khan doesn't want going to the restroom. He doesn't want you leaving his seat.
Yeah.
If you're at home watching this, he doesn't want you getting a snack.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like I've been to a couple big events in my time. Like I went to a Survivor Series once, which I guess isn't like a massive event.
Yeah.
But you're putting on 15 matches and you're going to one of these stadiums, like bathroom break, right? Like at the house, it's easy. I can just run to the bathroom real quick. I can push pause if I want to and keep going. What do you do? Like you
just got to pick your spots. You got to pick your spot.
You bring a big old Gatorade bottle with you.
You do that. Or what I do is I pick my spot. Like, so like I went, the show wasn't going to be as long as All Out, but I went to Death Before Dishonor when it was in Massachusetts, a couple, and Claudio won. And that was a long pay-per-view. It was like a little over 4 hours total. I just know, I just have a feeling. I go, okay, this match is going to go long. So I'm going to watch the entrances and then I'm just booking it right at the beginning. So hopefully I'm back within the first 5 minutes and then I can kind of settle in for the home stretch here. But it's tough, especially when, and we'll talk about it obviously with All Out, but like they're building this, like every match is good. Like there's not necessarily a super weak match on the card. You know what I mean? It's a strong 14.
For all the complaints people give about the WWE stylings and stuff, though, like about the video packages and the recaps and stuff like that, as soon as a match ends, if you're there live, you can run to the restroom and make it back.
That is true.
Before the next match starts. Here it's next match.
Yeah.
Just like
exactly.
But I mean, hey, we already know some of these matches might only be 5 minutes long.
It's true. It's true. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's dive right into this. We will go in chronological order of when the events are going to be, starting with Saturday afternoon on the East Coast. Jeff, I know you're out in California, so it'll be even
don't
earlier.
Forget to let our fans know. Drop your predictions in the comments.
Yes. If you are in the chat when we are talking about these matches, let us know.
While Jeff Hawkins counts his check.
That is true. That is true. So we will start with Clash at the Castle in Cardiff, Wales. This one, as of right now, it's a tape Smackdown, so I don't think they're adding anything to it. Only 6 matches. It has a very much of a takeover-ish feel to me. Not a lot of matches, but every match has potential to be an absolute banger of a match. You know what I mean? It feels like a very Triple H build, I should say. So there's only 6 matches, but all 6 of them are strong. I'm just going to start and work our way up to the main event here. So the first match I have listed is Edge and Rey Mysterio going up against the Judgment Day, who will be represented by Finn Balor and Damian Priest, with Dominic and with Rhea at ringside, respectively. I'll start with Jeff for this one. You can give us a little background of how you think this feud has gone so far. I actually think the Judgment Day has been presented very well since kind of triple the change a little bit. Like they at least have purpose and they're made to look strong, like not like a bunch of idiots like they kind of were at first once Finn joined. But like, how have you thought about this build up to this? And we'll let you start right away. Like, who's your pick? And we'll just kind of go there with discussion.
I think the build's been pretty good.
Yeah.
We still have a problem in that the Mysterio's acting ability, they always act like just met for the first time whenever they're taping a vignette between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I think we've also drawn out this Dominic Mysterio thing far too long.
Mm-hmm.
He's in love.
Yeah, I know. And
He's in love.
You don't understand, Dad.
Yeah.
I look into her eyes and I see good.
I'm gonna marry her, Dad. Show you all.
Look, Dominic Mysterio is the dumbest babyface in Sting in WCW. And my fear is that because this is the stadium show in the UK and their real grand return, there's gonna be the want to do the big nostalgia pop for Edge and Ray here. And that we're going to extend this stupid Dom story even more.
Oh, God, I hope not.
But but it's all Finn and his homecoming too. So I'm going to, let's do this. Let's have him pull the trigger on the Dominic turning heel straight. Let's have the Judgment Day win here.
All right. And Pluggo, I don't want to skip you. I was originally going to go to you next, but I think Dom is turning. And that's what I'm actually going with too. I think this is, on Monday, how Rhea got him to give her the kendo stick, just the way she did it. He didn't really fight back. And then more importantly, the promo they had in the back where Dominic was like, Dad, you've always said like mi familia. You've always said family, and Ray was like, I understand that, son, but you have to understand like Edge's family. And sometimes you got to call your brothers or whatever he said. And I could tell Dom, like the facial expressions and like you said, their acting is not the greatest by any means, but you could tell that Dom was kind of like, you picked your friend over me, Dad. You know what I mean? And I think that with everything that's going on with him falling in love, like Pluggo says with Rhea, I think they're going to do it. I think Dom's turning, and I think Finn Balor's going to get a victory over in his home territory, home continent, and he's going to.
The only odd thing about this build is that whole Rhea thing with it's like they used to do with like Baby Doll a lot in the 80s, JP, where it's like you're waiting for someone to hit her, and then they're gonna pop when that happens. But they're never gonna do that because they don't do that in WWE.
Exactly,
so it's kind of a weird build.
Exactly.
I've that's been, and I'm not advocating for just start hitting women recklessly, like that's not where, but every week it's like they get closer and they get closer, and she's playing the like, come on, do it, Dom. What if Rhea turns? What if Rhea falls in love with Dom?
Oh.
That would
be catastrophic. That would be catastrophic, I believe.
What if Rhea's like, I'm joining the familia,
I think that would be catastrophic. I wouldn't want that.
Because she doesn't ultimately, she fits in with the Judgment.
She fits in.
They can't do anything with her in a 3-on-3 match. So maybe
they could. I think at this point.
Let's be honest. They can't do much with Dom in a 3-on-3 match.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I would have. Don't get me wrong. I think this match is going to be very good. But I wanted the 6-per. Add Dom, and Rhea can hold her own. Like Rhea. I would love to see Rhea Ripley throw Rey Mysterio.
The only reason I
say
this,
throw him around.
The only reason I would lean that way is because if the Judgment Day loses this match for any reason, I think it's done. Because they can't keep taking L's in big spots.
Rhea can only turn face if she does the bad acting with the Mysterios.
we got Berto in the chat saying Rhea wouldn't look good in a Mysterio mask. It's true. She wouldn't.
But I'm gonna lean Ray. Get Ray.
So you're going Ray and Edge.
Yeah.
All right. So Jeff and I think they're gonna pull the Dom turn in Judgment Day, and Pluggo's going with Edge and Ray. What were you gonna say, Pluggo? You think what? You having second thoughts?
I don't feel good about it. If we were confidence pointing this, it wouldn't be high. But
I'm the same way. My confidence points are
like if this starts off the show. Let's say this is the opener. They're gonna go out. They're gonna start hot.
It's fair.
And they're going to go with the baby faces. But I still think there's a chance Rhea turns.
1 down, 300 matches to go. Let's go.
I know. I was going to say. All right.
We spent way too much time on Dominic.
Hey, you're only going to get that here, right?
We're better than this.
All right. We have the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther defending against Sheamus. Now, I happen to think that this match could potentially steal the show, to be honest with you. I think this match in that environment over there with that crowd, I think this match has potential to shock people with how good it can be. Like, they're going to beat the shit out of each other.
Well, it's going to be
physical. Yeah. What, Edge can't take another win over the I agree. Yeah, I agree.
If he wins, I think they kill it because it's not really hitting that hard.
But Gunther and Sheamus, I think, is going to be, it's two big guys, physical wrestlers. I love the promo they had last Friday on SmackDown where Sheamus was talking about his accolades, the people he's beaten, everything he's done.
Banger
I feel like,
banger
after banger. I feel like Sheamus is underrated because the people don't look at him as really an all-timer. And when you line up everything he was talking about, I mean, he's kind of up, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, even though we know that that's not, whatever. But I think this match can steal the show. I think Gunther retains. I don't see him losing. Pluggo, I'll let you go first this time, but I think that this match could literally be the best match that we see in this event.
I think Sheamus had banger after banger one too many times on Friday, lost the crowd. But yeah, I don't think Gunther loses. I think this is a good spot for him to show. Because again, Sheamus is well decorated. I mean, people sleep on Sheamus, and maybe this Fight Club gimmick ain't the vibe for most people. But the dude's an all-time great. So yeah, but I think it's a way to put Gunther. Hopefully, they change it back to Walter on the map. I call it. That's it. But it's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be physical.
Oh, yeah. And then Jeff will have you finish this one up for us, yeah?
I actually have a better percentage of Sheamus winning this.
Okay.
Because they were playing up the whole he's never had the Intercontinental title.
That is true.
That's true.
And that smells a little. I'm not saying that Gunther won't win this, and I respect the man for getting that great in shape. I'm being bigger, but look, this is a mean guy beat the crap out of each other match, and this is all I ever want out of my wrestling. So this might be my match of actually the weekend, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go with Gunther, but I still hold out a smidgen of possibility that this is that they change the title here. But I don't think they will.
Whose chest is going to be redder?
Sheamus.
The albino. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, and Dustin said it in the chat.
Those 10 beats of the Balor. Bro.
No, I know, but Dustin said it in the chat. He said with Sheamus being so pale, Gunther's chops are going to look brutal. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sheamus is going to look. Sheamus's chest will be the color of his hair by the time he gets out of
exactly.
That's like Anthony Davis with the unibrow. Sheamus is just pastiness. That's a choice.
Yeah, I mean that's
a very
marketing. I'm for it.
It is marketing. It is marketing.
You think Vince ever said if you get a tan, I'll fire you?
Probably. He would. I bet you, if he ever thought about doing it, he would have to get it cleared.
All I know is our guest Jeff Hawkins can afford all the tanning packages he wants. With the check that cleared this week.
I almost went live because of how much I'm being made today.
Oh no!
All right.
Berto says, "Guys, Gunther is going to kick the shit out of him and then take."
If you're going to have Gunther win, it's got to be clean.
Oh yeah,
you want to establish.
But I could see, I agree with Jeff about Sheamus. Is they did say that more than once that he was only the IC title away from being a Grand Slam champion, and he's done everything else. He's won a Rumble, Money in the Bank. He's done everything else. I could see over there them giving that to him, and then maybe Gunther kind of works his way up to the main event scene because they are obviously very high on that individual, as they should be. I could see that happening, but I'm still leaning with Gunther.
Miz and Seth right now. Your only current Grand Slam champions are Miz and Seth, so you'd want to add to it.
All right. Well, speaking of Seth, they really ramped this story up on Monday, huh? God, what a segment. But we have Matt Riddle versus Seth, and they brought the Matt back, so it is Matt Riddle. Who's messing? What just happened? Who just happened? Alex. Anyway,
Jesus,
what is going on here? Anyway, Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. Jeff, I'll let you lead here. Tell me what you thought about. I mean, you can talk about both segments if you want. The first one was more of a traditional pro wrestling face-to-face, couple good shots in there. But really, the thing that everyone was talking about is when they came back and they had that very real feeling interaction with dropping F-bombs and talking about Riddle's family and kids and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Let me know what you thought about that and where you're leaning here with Rollins and Riddle.
Pluggo, are you still there?
Where are you at, Jeff? Where are you at?
I adored that second half of that segment. I like that they're taking some mild risks here occasionally with the format and things like that. I do. I never thought they're gonna make bold changes to the product, but I like the baby steps, and I like. Look, I want to feel like there's hate in wrestling again. I think hate in wrestling in a feud is a very, very good thing. Given that we've been building this up, boy, this one is one that feels like it might continue to Extreme Rules for a possible stipulation. So see, that's the reason I think Seth might win this, even though I don't think he should. I think they're going to give this to Seth to do this feud will continue through Extreme Rules.
I
think that's a fair assessment. Pluggo?
Yeah, I'm with you too. I mean, Riddle needs it more than Seth, but they did Riddle need again. My thing with this, and especially with the new Triple H regime, is you want to build these new people. So you put Riddle in a match, like Gunther gets one over an established Sheamus. Riddle gets one over Rollins, but Rollins just took a bunch of L's to Cody to set that up, and then he got hurt. So you need to get Seth back on track too, because you need him right now more than you need Riddle in that main event scene. So yeah, I think with Jeff, I think Seth gets it done, but they do a way where this ain't over. They go to a cage or a cell in a cell or something at Extreme.
Yeah, I can definitely see it continuing, but I think Seth and Berto asked in the chat, like, when was the last good Seth Rollins win? And I understand that, like, from a character perspective, he's basically bulletproof, like just his performances, and he's over as hell. And I get it, but I expect Rollins. Okay, and we're going to talk about the main event later, but like once those belts are off Roman, or once one belt is off Roman, that opens up everything to other people. And I expect Rollins to be right up there for that time when those belts are off Roman to be involved. And he hasn't won anything in a while. And I agree with Riddle and how Riddle's super over with the fans, but he hasn't gotten like over from a presentation standpoint yet to like a main event status almost. But I think Rollins has to win. He's lost too many big matches recently.
Yeah, but the thing that this will do will give Matt Riddle a bit of that edge to him. He's been lacking because up until now he's just been goofball.
Yeah.
Orton partner. If he turns off that for this match and still loses, it'll do him a lot of good, I think.
I'm surprised he didn't pop on the screen when we all picked Seth to win and go, "Where are you guys at?"
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. But I think Monday was the start of that. I think Monday was the start of seeing, a different side of him where like, hey, I can be the chill bro that's here to have a good time, but if you F with me, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to literally kill you. And he can because he's a former, he can. So you add that element to him and he's still the goofy, funny guy that's over most of the time, but he can do that. That adds a whole different layer to his character where that will give him the next leap to be up near the top of the card, All right, as we continue to move up this card, we have a 6-woman tag match. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka going against Damage Control, I believe is what they're calling themselves, correct? Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Pluggo, I'll let you lead, my friend, with this one. I feel like it's been a consistently good build, but I felt like the first 2 weeks were much stronger than the last couple weeks with this build in particular. But how are you feeling about this build to this match, and who do you think's getting the victory here?
So Monday night, when Asuka, Belair, and Bliss wrestled, did that feel very heelish to anybody else, or was that just?
I mean, it was just a squash match, I think.
No, but they were very cocky about it. It's like, you guys are. I just figured I'd throw it out there. And then, of course, Dakota and Io didn't win the tag titles.
Yeah. So how do we feel about that, Jeff? Yeah, how do we feel about that? How do we feel about that? Before we dive into this match, how do we feel about that decision on Monday? Do we think that's
absolute malfeasance? Malfeasance. You got to give it to the strongest team. You got to give it to the people you just brought up.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I think all of us were like just kind of expecting once we saw the brackets, like, oh, Dakota and Io are winning these. do we think maybe they know that maybe Sasha and Naomi are coming back sooner than later, and it's easier to have them beat Dakota and
it's overthinking
Aew?
it if you're doing it that way, though, because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so we have Sasha and Naomi beat Raquel and Aew for the titles to set up Aew and Dakota versus those two. But Raquel and Aew already just beat Dakota and Aew. So
and they're heading into this big ass match at Clash. It's like, why did you just do that?
Yeah.
I think Bayley's not exactly 100%. I think she's at 80 to 90 right now. So she needs. Unfortunately, I don't want this to. All my dream is for a WWE stable to not be one star with a couple of flunkies, to have actual competency and equality within the stable, and would have been the one to do it. But it feels almost like these two are going to be taking balls for Bayley versus anything else. But, I mean, we'll see.
I do feel like that was really one of the first decisions ever since the Triple H kind of taken over, where I was like, oh, that felt why
Tony Khan agreed with you, so
yeah, like, why would you do that? Like, I just don't understand. Like, it was just very bizarre to me, like, and I think obviously it's still early enough that they can easily make sure that this stable still looks good moving forward.
It's WWE thinking. They're thinking of the next champs when they crown these ones, and to me it's much easier to build Sasha and Naomi versus Aew and Dakota as a super fight than it is to put the belts on a transition champion and get the belt on one of the two.
Yeah, that's a good point. Pluggo, I'll go back to you.
I'm just gonna go. I'll just make my pick. Like, I think Belair, Asuka, and Bliss get it done, but I think one of Asuka. I think Alexa Bliss is gonna turn on Belair. I kept seeing some looks.
Okay, so you think that's maybe a story moving forward,
and then that way, but I hate it because I think that Bayley and Aew and Dakota should win, like 100%. I think they should win because, again, it's you debuted them as a trio. What was the point of this? You're just going to have them take loss after loss. That's the old WWE way.
Yeah,
you should have gave those girls those tag titles, and then if they lost this, okay, like that would make sense because they just won the tag champs. They went through a grueling tournament. Yada 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 type stuff, but no. So I think they go with Belair and Asuka and Bliss.
All right,
I don't love it.
I think Bayley's crew takes it. I think Alexa eats the pin, and then maybe that turns gets their going heel on that path. But I don't think you can have Dakota eat another pin here and be legitimate in any way, especially after taking the roll up from Aew in the tag tournament.
Well, not that Aew, the GOAT.
For the love of God. But let's be fair. Dakota was the illegal person.
Yeah, that's how they're going to get out.
They showed it on camera where she verbally said it, telling the ref. Dakota tweeted after to Triple H about it. So I think that was done on purpose.
Yeah,
obviously.
But we saw with Liv Morgan that doesn't always help your case.
It's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, so Jeff, you think that Bayley and crew take it?
I think Bayley's team takes it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially after what happened on Monday, you got to have them look like they matter. And I think a victory here, and Alexa Bliss can take the pin. Perfect example there. But yeah, I have Bayley and crew winning this one as well. It's their first, six. They got to win.
You're going against me.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, man. All right, now we have.
I bring you in, Jeff. We bring you into the.
I want to make money.
All that.
Yeah, all that money. Yeah, of course.
I'm betting against Pluggo to make money. That's the only reason.
There you go. We now have the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship match between the champion Liv Morgan defending against Shayna Basler. They have made Shayna Basler look like the Shayna Basler of old these last few weeks, which is what I'm happy about most. I personally want Shayna Basler to win, and I am pro Liv Morgan. I like Liv. I just think SummerSlam absolutely destroyed her the way that they booked that match. And I think because of that, this is kind of over with now, unfortunately. I can easily see Liv Morgan retaining and Ronda being the one that takes the belt off her. But because of this is what I want to happen, I'm going to go with Shayna Basler because I think Shayna Basler in reality should destroy Liv Morgan. So that's where I'm going to go. I'll slide it down to you, Jeff, next. I wouldn't be shocked if I'm 100% wrong about this one, but
I think
where
you
I'm
are
going.
wrong. I'll tell you why. Because they know they made a mistake with what the booking of Liv Morgan, and to take the title off of her would be bailing on her, and then you have absolutely no use for her after that. I like the idea of a Shayna Ronda feud for the title, but it ain't gonna happen because I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna use Shayna as a cipher for Ronda that Liv can beat mixed martial artists. So I think this is gonna be tough. Yeah. I think there's gonna be some tough sledding in this match. To be honest with you.
And I
think Liv wins it with like either a banana peel or they'd pull the thing in where Shayna doesn't understand the rules of professional wrestling like she used to do with her all the time.
Yeah. And for Berto's comment, I disagree with that. I think the Shayna Baszler that Vince McMahon showed you maybe didn't have any championship material to her, but if you watched the Shayna Baszler from NXT with Triple H,
Triple H knew how to present her.
Oh my God, yeah.
Saw her as like a raccoon, I think.
Correct.
So.
Whereas when she was in NXT, she still, I believe, is the only 2-time NXT Women's Champion, I believe. She was an absolute monster. She ran through that whole women's roster for over a year. She's a stone cold killer. She's as good as Ronda Rousey, if not better. She's definitely better at promos than Ronda. I think Shayna Baszler is probably everything as far as a total package goes that they would want Ronda to be, personally. I just disagree with that comment. But anyway, Jeff is probably right. I admit that. I'm picking with my heart here, not my head, because I just love Shayna Baszler. But Pluggo, I'll let you finish this one before we move on to our main event of the evening.
No, I think Jeff said it perfectly. They made a mistake with Liv, or with the booking of Liv. And I am a Shayna stan. I love Shayna Baszler. You and I, JPJ, have talked about it probably since day one of knowing each other. Is like, how much we enjoy her and how much she should be a monster. But how do you get Liv back on track? You present the Shayna Baszler that we all know and love, just for her to take an L to Liv to try to save it. Because if you kill it too early, then you've lost all that goodwill.
You're admitting defeat.
You're admitting like we screwed up. We shouldn't have listened to you. So they're going to present her as a monster. I think that there's something there with Shayna and Ronda as just a match where it doesn't even necessarily need the belt. But I think Liv gets the win. I just do, as much as I would love Shayna to get the win. But that's where I'm at.
All right. And now we move on to our main event of the evening.
I don't feel good about any of my picks so far. Like I don't feel like slam, but that's good.
Like that though. I like that a little bit of mystery.
I agree. I think all three of us were just going to say, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
We've done WWE prediction shows here where we literally just went, "Yep, we think all the favorites are going to win." That's it. Yep. We'll talk about the main event. Call it a day. So like at least that there's some intrigue here is awesome. So good on them.
And we have the main event, which is the singles match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. It is the champion Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Pluggo, you know, I have been swaying. I have been thinking about this match for a few weeks now because I do think you got to pull the trigger and you do it with Drew. I've went into it going, Roman 2 years has been untouchable. Would it shock me if they just No, of course not. He's been unbeatable for 2 years, but I'm of the ilk, and I know Pluggo, we've talked about it. We talked about it a little last week. Like, if not now, then, you know what I mean? Like, Drew has been presented this last month as somebody at that level of Roman Reigns. You can make the argument that Drew deserves this moment in front of the fans because he didn't get that moment in front of the fans at Mania a couple years ago. Oh, there's the vase. There it is. You got to stay hydrated.
I had that point.
I just think it's in, not his home country, but it's in his home area, his home territory. Give him that moment. I am of the belief that if you're aiming for Roman and Rock at Mania, the title should be nowhere near that. It doesn't need to be. That could be the main event of Mania without a title. It doesn't matter. We can talk about that because you want to talk about heat.
Welcome to the chat.
Thanks for being here, Ab Guy. But you want to talk about heat? We could talk about that afterwards. But I think, and I've been swaying back and forth, I'm going with the prediction that I think you got to go all in. You give it to Drew. Pluggo, I'll let you go, and then we'll finish this one up with Jeff. But that's where I'm.
Three things for me right now that are like the theory involvement. Does he cash in? Because if you just have Roman win, Drew looks amazing, push him to limit. Theory cashes in.
We've seen that before.
Possible? Right.
No, he's not cashing in against Roman. If anything, he would cash in against Drew.
Drew wins it. Okay,
and then a cash in.
And the other thing is the Cody factor, right?
Rumble. That's a Rumble thing. I don't.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, are you willing to just let Roman carry to the Rumble and make it?
No, I think Seth will have it by the time we get to next year's Mania for Cody and Seth.
Yeah,
but
you just hopping them titles.
That's far away. It makes sense, doesn't it? That's far.
And is Bray Wyatt coming back?
I don't know.
Anyway, if I had to pick, gun to my head, yeah, I think you give it to Drew, but I can't. I'm gonna stick with Roman. I think that there's something that we're just not. It's too like laid out. It's too perfect.
Okay,
it's fair. Too like okay. Give it to Drew. It makes sense. There's a way that you can still get Drew that title with the involvement of Theory or some other stuff, or I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love this card.
I mean, I like the card.
I miss it. I miss it being easy, Jeff. Tell me what you're thinking. Convince me.
I am under the opinion that there was a plan penciled out here by Vince McMahon, and that Drew was going to lose this match when Vince McMahon was in charge. Mm-hmm. Because I have thought for a while that the plan is to get to Rock versus Roman.
Yeah.
And to have Roman beat Rock, or Rock beat Roman for like maybe the SmackDown title. And maybe the plan changed a little bit when they signed Cody, so Cody could take the Raw title and Rock could take the other title from Roman. The empty arena Drew win. If you recall follow-up to that, that was when Vince had no idea what to do with Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. He was doing the thing that he always does where it's like, okay, I'm going to try various alpha male archetypes here to see what I could get with him. He was the ladies' man. He's the sarcastic guy. He was the tough guy. Mm-hmm. And they kept on gimmicking him. And it killed him. It killed his reign after that WrestleMania, to be honest.
And there was no way to judge it because there was no fans.
Right. And we were bringing Heath Slater back to die to try and get sympathy for him and all those other things. That video package they did for him was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
He is in this stadium, and it is a makeup call of all makeup calls. And I have faith in Triple H because Triple H had him as an NXT champion. That he knows what to do here, and he knows how to not have Roman lose all the heat necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he has to. But really, Roman has to be cooled off a bit to rebuild this bloodline storyline, which has gone nowhere for a while, other than the Sami Zayn edition. Yep. Because the Usos haven't had any depth to them since joining, to be honest with you, until the Jimmy J story. I'm going with Drew here, and I'm going with the nice picture and the happy ending and everybody going home happy.
Yeah.
The Theory move is a Vince move all the way.
Oh, yeah.
And if they do that, that's stupid. Unless Drew beats Theory. Unless it's a failed cash down.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a failed cash in, though, like Jeff just said. Like, what if he does try to cash in and Drew just beats him? And then you get that double moment, that double victory moment for Drew there in front of, and then everyone does go home real happy. You know what I mean? So that's not a bad idea. I
think Triple H is into booking happy endings versus heat. And I think that's going to be the choice here.
Yeah. All right. I like it. All right, so that wraps up the first.
I'm not. I'm convinced that it might be Drew, but I'll stick with Roman just to be different. But
look, is it going to shock any of us if Roman leaves? Come on, I mean, he's been unbeatable for 2 years.
Pick here real quick because I like that they've had a strong long-term champion. They haven't told any real great stories necessarily with him, but having Roman on top for almost 2 years now is positive, and Roman has been great in the role as he plays it too. Yeah. I mean, it's really given him some range and stuff, and he seems special now. So I'll defend Pluggo's pick here. I think it's not the worst pick in the world, but
no, of course not. And like I said, if Roman ends up winning, if Roman ends up winning, I'm going to be sitting there watching it, going like, all right, yeah. I mean, I get it. Yeah. Like Roman, he's been that guy for 2 years, so you know what I mean. I just think
You could have Drew win it and then eventually just say, you know what, I want to be.
If it's not Drew, and I know Jeff thinks it could be The Rock, which I mean, again, I don't think that.
But no guarantee either that The Rock is going to be able to wrestle at the moment they want to, but that's been Vince's dream. That's what Vince has been holding out for this entire time.
And I think Triple H would understand the magnitude of that match too.
Yeah,
I know everybody said that's Vince's idea, but I think Triple H would be like, yeah, if I can get The Rock to show up at Mania, hell yeah.
I just think, for me,
I think it's more likely The Rock shows up at Mania because it's Triple H in charge than it was with Vince and all the shit going on with Vince.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That could be too.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was part of the reason, but I think maybe everything that was going on, John Cena showed up for that random Raw, and a lot of people just assumed, oh, he'll be around, he'll do a SummerSlam thing with maybe Theory or something like that. But I thought the way how he just showed up that one night and kind of bounced, I thought in the back of my mind, I was like, I wonder if certain people that John Cena has in his group now that he's in Hollywood were like, hey, why don't show up, do your thing, but like, why don't you try to keep a small distance here until we kind of know what's going on? Because you got this growing over here that could be bigger for you than this maybe. So why don't we take a step? And I think you could have potentially ran into something like that with The Rock too. So I don't know. Who knows? But all right. So now we go to Sunday afternoon. NXT, we have When Worlds Collide. This has come together over the last couple weeks, and it's turned into a pretty damn good-looking card a little bit here. This is basically NXT UK is going away. We're starting NXT Europe next year, so we have to get rid of all the NXT UK belts. So we're having unification matches so they can all just become the NXT titles, and see you later. We'll be back NXT Europe in 2023. So that's what we're doing here. But it's very much takeover style, 5 matches, all title matches. It's looking good. The matches themselves should be good. We will start. They're all what I think potentially, and I know we talked about Gunther and Sheamus potentially being Jeff's favorite match of the weekend. I think this match has potential to be one of the best, if not the best match of the weekend.
Yeah.
And it's for the NXT North American Championship. Yeah. And it is Carmelo Hayes defending against Ricochet. And I mean, this match literally, if they, which I'm going to assume they're going to let them go. This match really could be the best wrestling match we see of the whole weekend. Jeff, I'll let you go first. I will be fair. I don't watch NXT 2.0 as strongly or as regularly as I did the old version of NXT, but I have been paying attention since Triple H has taken over a little bit more, and this has really piqued my attention, this card. So I'll let you start with Carmelo Hayes versus Ricochet.
I'm first going to say, I remember a card like this when I was a young wrestling fan, when NWA and UWF decided to join together and get bought out, and UWF didn't win a single damn match in the card. And I think a lot of this made the same way.
Yeah.
This was my match of the week, and until I thought about the Gunther Sheamus thing.
Yeah.
Because this is either going to be off the charts awesome or a complete and total train wreck. And I am interested as hell to see if Melo can hang with Ricochet.
Yep.
I really am. This is going to be fun. I thought Ricochet cut a very good promo on the Go Home show, especially a very good promo for Ricochet.
Yep.
And Melo's great. I want get Trick Williams the hell out of there early, though. That's my fear, because the Trick interference is the one thing that could put a damper on this.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't see any of these guys sticking around in NXT. I don't think it's a reshuffling of a roster. I think it's just kind of a guys coming home, put up the young guys over type thing. So I think Melo either wins this or Trick Williams causes a disqualification, but I do not see a title change of any way.
All right, that's fair. Pluggo, I'll slide it over to you.
This is like, in a lot of ways, this would be Melo's coming out party. I know he's already established in NXT. Like I said, Ricochet's coming down, doing the favor, putting him over. Mm-hmm. I don't see Melo being a long-term mainstay on NXT.
Nope.
So I could see him getting called up as early as like next week if they really wanted to.
If they want,
I mean, I'm gonna say if they want. I mean, like, because he's that good. It's not like it would be like, oh shit, you called this guy up. So I could see him like winning it, and the way his character is just being like, I've already done everything I can with this. Like, and then they have a tournament of some type and crown a new champion. That's very NXT 2.0 booking, but I think it's Melo.
I'm in agreement. I think it's Carmelo. Braun Breaker is the NXT champion, but in my eyes, for a long time, Carmelo Hayes has been the guy down there. He's the guy that I look at in NXT 2.0, and I'm like, main roster star immediately. Just presentation, promo, in-ring, everything about him.
He's perhaps the biggest beneficiary of Vince leaving.
100%. 100%. I think. Because
Vince wouldn't see it in him.
Nope. But I think Hunter and Sean, whatever triumph, whatever they have going on with NXT, whatever, they know. And they know that guy could be he's a future world. He's a top guy. I think they're going to have a banger of a match. I think Ricochet is there to have a really good match and make this kid look like a superstar. And I think he will. And I think Carmelo, I agree with you, Jeff. I don't want Trick, even if he doesn't get kicked out of ringside, just don't be involved in that. You want to be the cheerleader, the manager, cool, kind of keep your ass in the corner a little bit and let these two do their thing.
This would be one of those cool moments if Melo just said, "Hey, Trick, I got this."
That would be cool too if they're in the arena and they start walking down and he's kind of like, "No, this is all me."
Melo understanding the magnitude of what Ricochet did in NXT.
Yeah,
and I know
that would be very cool.
I know he's a heel, but just you've seen it before where heels go, "I got this. I don't need my help."
Yep. So, I think so. I think we're all in agreement there that we're all picking Carmelo as the victor here. So we will move on to
15 matches down, 387.
This one's a nice one. We got the small cards out of the way first before we dive in deep.
AEW,
we dive in deep. Yeah, we have a fatal 4-way tag team elimination match to unify the NXT and NXT UK tag team championships. We have the Creed brothers, who I love. We have Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, who are the NXT UK champions. We have Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang, who just came over a couple weeks ago. And we have Pretty Deadly. So those are the 4 teams. It is elimination. Pluggo, I'll let you lead. Who do you think leaves with the unified NXT tag team champions?
Creed brothers. Yeah. I'm not going to go super in depth because I don't know a ton about. I watch NXT based on matches I want to see, so I see a lot of Carmelo Hayes stuff. I don't watch a lot of the Creed brothers because they don't do it for me. But the
Creed brothers don't do it for you.
But I think they'll win.
Wait, is that true?
I don't get that excited about it.
All right. That's fine. Subjective, bro. It's subjective. I like the Creed brothers.
I'll let Jeff go super in depth. I'm just gonna say, hey. I don't pay attention that much to the Creed brothers, but I think they're gonna win.
I love the Creed brothers.
I do too.
I feel like the odd man out of this show.
I like Julius more than Brutus because I think there's a lot more weird personality there. Although Brutus is so. Which one? Am I mixing them up? Which one's the tall one? Brutus is the tall one, right?
No, I think Julius.
Okay, never mind.
Sure.
I love Brutus Creed more than Julius Creed.
Yeah.
But Julius is really improved on the mic. Is really the leader, and that one that they see something in if they're pull the Heart Foundation / Rockers type thing. I hope they don't because I love them as a team.
Yeah.
Gallus has been sneaky good over at NXT UK. I'm one of the few people who watched NXT UK throughout its entire run. They do some impressive heel work, and they have some fun chemistry and the occasional great sketch over there. So I like them. And I love Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly is possibly the most improved tag team in the entire WWE system in the last 2 years. They went from being enhancement dudes to being stars, and they are main roster ready. They should have been maximum male models, to be honest with you.
That would have made sense.
And that thing.
Made sense.
Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs stink. Yeah. But I'm rooting for Brooks, I believe it is, because I believe he's Bull Buchanan's kid.
Bull Buchanan's kid is Brooks, yeah.
Yes. I like them. I think there's a way to get belts off of both Brooks and Creed and continue those stories with I think this comes down since it's an elimination match. I think it'll be Pretty Deadly versus Brooks and Briggs. I think Pretty Deadly unifies the titles here.
All right, cool. I like that. Pretty Deadly. I'm actually, and again, I wasn't a big NXT UK follower as well, but I paid a lot of attention to Gallus because they were one of the groups that you heard a lot about, even though, not everybody was necessarily watching NXT UK. I think they've come over in the last couple of weeks and made an immediate impression. I know Joe Coffey, he's the one that's not in this match, but Joe Coffey was fighting for world championships over there in NXT UK. I actually think that Gallus is going to end up winning this. I think that they kind of view them as a big deal. I think you have a new faction coming over to NXT. You can make them look impressive right away by having them win the match. I think the Creed brothers, I agree with you that the Creed brothers and Brooks and Jensen have other stories going on that could be the focus of them, not necessarily the titles. I see the Creed brothers on the main roster sooner than later, maybe not right away, but sooner than later. I think they could be a main roster tag team that the crowd would adore, like very much be behind. I'm going with Gallus. I don't have any rhyme or reason behind it. I just think, new group coming over, make them look strong right away. If they have the titles, it makes them look strong. So
I'll go with that.
That's where I'm going there. All righty. So then we have a tag team match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. We have Katana Chance and Caden Carter, the champions. And we saw Doudrop and Nikki ASH show up, which was pretty cool. There was a lot of main roster implementation in this past week's NXT. And they were two of them, and they came up and they challenged, and they will be the challengers for this match. I don't see Doudrop and Nikki ASH winning. I think this is kind of what we talked about with Ricochet a little bit, like main roster talent, former NXT, well, Nikki ASH at least, former. Doudrop was there for a little bit, but former NXT UK talent that are going to make Chance and Carter look really good and a good title retain. That's where I'm going. Jeff, I'll head your way next. What do you think about the women's tag team match here?
My hope is that they come out as Nikki Cross and Piper Niven.
That would be incredible.
Because they've been doing vignettes where Doudrop is trying to kill the cape. And Nikki Cross, Sanity Nikki Cross is one of my favorite characters NXT ever did. I mean, just crazy and just great in that whole stable. The whole stable was underrated, in my opinion. I love them. I am also here for any interplay between Piper Niven and the two small girls on the other side, because I think she's going to be throwing them around. I think it's going to be awesome toss. But in the end, they see something in these two. I don't know what it is. I mean, they improved, and I like their finisher a lot. This dancing gimmick does nothing for me, though. Pluggo's here to party.
TikTok tag team, baby.
Chance retain that.
Yeah, I would agree. Pluggo's going off the grid with all his picks today. He's just like,
yes, I am, because this is the most pointless set of tag titles in the company, because you don't have a ton of women's tag teams as it is, and I think so. You don't stay on the the veterans are coming down just to put the young talent over. I think maybe Piper Niven and, like you said, Nikki Cross get it done, and it's like a callback to their NXT days. But then I think you just bounce it back to them on a Tuesday night. You have Niven and Ash lose it, because what else are they doing? They just lost in the tag tournament. Caden and Katana. Sorry. I don't watch a lot of NXT. I don't watch a lot. They just beat Toxic Attraction, so it's really no point to run that back. And there's really no other tag teams down there for them to fight with.
It's sure. I mean, they're on a ton.
I mean, there's not a lot for them to do. So why not throw the titles to Piper and Nikki and just have a month program on NXT with them, and maybe hopefully build up a couple more teams in the process, and then you have them win it again and just move on, because it's not like it really matters, because the ultimate women's tag titles can be defended on all three brands, as we learned again in this tournament. And why have two sets?
Yeah,
I think they need to just figure out a way to get rid of them, honestly.
Yeah, they do. And I think it'd be be funny if the NXT champs came back to NXT and lost them there to the NXT tag champ, and then it's Casey and Katana.
We're gonna have a unification.
Well, then you get them off of them that way, and then you get rid of the NXT champ to lose to Aew and Dakota, which would be fun.
So I'm gonna say Niven and Nikki get it done. I'm just gonna be that guy up here in the corner today.
It would be cool if, like Jeff said, they kind of made a little small change to the characters a little bit, because you have seen the vignettes. I remember on SmackDown they were shown arguing with each other or just having a strong conversation with each other in the background of another promo. So it seems like they're adding layers to them as a team, as a story. So like maybe it does lead to
the NXT crowd knows them.
Yeah.
So it would be awesome, and it would make a ton of sense.
Yeah. All right, cool. We'll move on. We have a triple threat match to unify the NXT Women's Championship and NXT UK Women's Championship, involving the NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose, the NXT UK Women's Champion Miko Satomura, and Blair Davenport. I think particularly they made this a triple threat so Mandy Rose can pin Blair Davenport and be the champion, because I do not think that Satomura is going to be staying over here to the point where she's going to win this match. But I honestly think with her and her history and just how dominant and great she is, they don't want her taking a pinfall either. So I think Mandy Rose will retain. I think she'll do so by pinning Blair Davenport. Pluggo, what say you? It's very simple for me. That's what I think they're doing.
I think Blair Davenport, the former B. Priestley, was ready, tailor-made for AEW. She was going to have her big North American run with AEW, and COVID hit, and she didn't have a job, so she took the NXT gig. I think Mandy is tailor-made and ready to go back to the main roster. I think Davenport wins
by pinning Mandy.
By pinning Mandy, establishing it, setting it up. Mandy gets the call up. Miko does go back and does whatever. I think she's going to stay around. I just don't think she's, like you said, I don't think she's going to do like a long NXT title run here. Maybe she will, but
yeah, you never know. I mean, if they have her committed to staying, I would see her win.
But I know that
I just don't know if she would do that.
I could be wrong that initially a lot of it was she was going to do a lot of coaching. And then they were going to do these matches and kind of give her swan song type deal, because she's been doing this thing forever.
Yeah, a long time.
She was in WCW at one point.
She was. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Jeff, to round it out here.
The perfect match would have been just one-on-one Mandy versus Mako Satomura, and Mako killing her in 5 seconds.
Yes.
To send Mandy up to the main roster.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know if she's going to the main roster, because Mandy looks like she has no F's to give on this NXT run, although she's doing a very good job at times doing it. She's over-delivered. She's over-delivered. She over-delivered in that Zoe Stark match, I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
During that time. I have no use for E. Priestley, Blair Davenport. The two big matches she had in AEW, she hurt Rio and she hurt Britt Baker. One's pinning the other, that they don't have to pin Miko. And I think my thinking was this sets up a Miko Mandy Rose feud where Miko finally wins the title. Because I think she's staying, and I think she's going to be training, because she's training over at NXT UK. Okay. She is great. The women there could use some. My thing is sign waivers, lock the doors, and don't ask questions, and just let Mako do what she does. Yeah, because she is a great trainer.
Yeah,
I love Mako Satomura, and I know that she is a dream match for Sasha Banks. So I think I think that's going to be something to keep her around as well.
Yeah, if she stays, like by all means, that changes everything. I'm just not sure what the plan is. Like if you got her locked in, then yeah, run with her because she's fantastic.
Feels like it's gonna be one of two things. Mako hits Mandy with a shot, gets thrown out of the ring by Blair. Blair pins, or Mako hits Blair with a shot. Mandy throws her out. Mandy pins Blair.
Yeah.
But it's going to be one of those two things. I am going to go with Mandy Rose retaining, and then they're using this to set up a feud with Mako for Mako to finally win the title.
All right, cool. I like that. I mean, look at it. If Mako's sticking around, I'm all for that because she is awesome. She is awesome. So that would be great. I just assume that the Blair Davenport was added there for a specific reason, so Mako doesn't have to lose So that either way it goes.
Mako or Mandy will have to lose. So
exactly.
I'm going to go with Mandy winning Blair then. Right. I'll say it's Mandy wins.
All right, that works. So me and Jeff agree there. Pluggo on his island again over there. No, I'm just kidding.
Nope, I respect the pick.
I do too.
I'm also there too.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at? I'll find you.
And then we have the main event, a singles match to unify the NXT Championship and the NXT United Kingdom Championship, which I think over in the UK still hasn't even been officially given to Tyler Bate in that tournament on television.
Hasn't been on TV.
Nope. But anyway, it is the NXT champion, Bron Breakker, against the NXT UK champion, Tyler Bate. Jeff, I will have you go first on this one. Who do you think is leaving as the unified NXT champion?
Oh, all these UKs are so small, including Gallus. It was so weird seeing Gallus and look how tiny they are compared to other guys because they're giants over in the UK. I love Tyler Bate.
I do too.
They have wasted a lot of his prime thing after the initial NXT UK tournament to then stick the belt on Pete Dunne, and then they just forgot about Tyler Bate. And he's been hanging around, getting tattoos, growing his hair out, doing mustache mountain occasionally, here and there. He's going to have to be the ring general in this match because you're not going to rely on Braun to call this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be.
And he's going to lose, I think, unless Braun's getting the call up, which I don't think he is. They usually don't do this until after major pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no draft in sight. So Bron Breakker's definitely winning this thing. I think this is going to be better than we think it's going to be, but I think it's still going to be a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That like when Bate won the first inaugural UK title, he was like just turned like 19.
Yes,
yeah, he was very
and they were like over the moon about like this kid's the future. 19 years old, first UK champ, and then like you said, Jeff, they were like. Whatever.
And they made him a transition champ immediately because the Dunn story was getting.
And now what? Now he feels like he's 35. But
yes.
I mean,
obviously, he's still young.
He's still
right?
young.
I mean, he has to be like what 25, 26, something like that.
Tim, we did.
Tim, we have not talked Bray yet. We are actually.
It's
a pick'em show. Pluggo did ask, but rumors are rumors. Sean Ross Sapp actually this week on the List in Your Boy with Jimmy Van said that. He'll have some news on that coming up, and he said most wrestling fans probably aren't going to like the news he has on it. So I think it might be maybe further away than we're all hoping, but who knows? Who knows, really?
Yeah, I ultimately, we're talking Braun here. I think I will go with Jeff, not because I'm trying to, join the crowd, but I just think Breakker's still the guy.
Yeah.
I think if we were talking 6 months ago, this might have been a good place to get him out and get him on the main roster. But I think the way Triple H is stacking the roster, there's still because Braun still has some room to go.
Yeah,
some seasoning.
I agree with both of you. I think Braun is winning this one. I think this is the easiest decision on the card.
Maybe
probably,
Bray Wyatt wins this one too.
But I think I think Braun wins, and then I see Tyler Bate going up to the main roster. I just think he goes to the main roster. That's what I think.
Yeah, I thought Mustache Mountain was a good act for the main roster, but they did Trent Seven.
But I think Tyler Bate can be that, if they put him on SmackDown, let's say, right? He can be that.
Yeah, keep him away from Gargano.
That's what I was going to say. Gargano will be that Daniel Bryan underdog guy on Raw, and I think Tyler Bate can be that guy on SmackDown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I actually think Bate comes over. He loses to Braun because Braun's still the guy. Braun still needs to be down in NXT and get a little bit more polished. I do think he'll be a star down the line as well. But yeah, I can see Tyler Bate losing and then heading up to the main roster relatively quickly, like not hanging around NXT at all. That's what I could see that happening. But
I don't think that's going to happen there, Tim.
What is that now? Boston White Sox. Okay. Is that his name? Is that his team name in the league? Yeah. Boston White Sox.
Do we want to do a throwaway Bray line? Because I hadn't read the thing from Sean.
Yeah, I don't think he's like he just said it verbally. I don't think he's put anything out yet, like a report or anything.
If wrestling fans are going to be upset, that means he's at AEW.
Maybe.
Well, my thing with Bray is a Bray Wyatt return or a Fiend return or whatever you want to do.
I don't think it can be the Fiend. It needs to be a new iteration. I wouldn't mind the Southern Bray Wyatt coming back.
That's an end the show type return. That's like, oh shit, he's here. See you Monday.
He's the new head of the
But if you do that, you step all over Drew.
Yes.
Based on what we talked about, you step all over the big win at Cardiff.
Now that would make wrestling fans upset too, I think.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
so that's a weird spot. Maybe you don't do it at Clash.
They've set up Karrion Kross as the guy to go.
It's kind of the net. Yeah.
Which I'm fine with, but you just don't want to crush Drew.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea, Tim. Like having a Faces of Bray type thing where you could kind of channel
Only if Husky Harris is part of it.
You have to do it right. You have to do it right because that guy has come up with good idea after good idea that the old man buried into the ground.
Let me throw out another minor idea there, where it's not Bray's introduced as a star, but Bray's the one who's hoping to turn Alexa back and go back to that well.
Oh boy, yeah.
I didn't hate that. I know that people shit on it. I
don't hate Kross and Bray working together either. I don't.
Well, I was gonna say, Bobby, our boy Bobby Munson, who after this show, per usual on Thursdays, Major Love Wrestling, the best MLW coverage on these interwebs. Bobby and Papa Smokes always following us on Thursdays, but I would not hate that either. Karrion Kross and Bray Wyatt working together. That would be something that would very much pique my interest.
Okay, now time for the 6-7 matches.
I was going to say, yes, we still have, that was good. We took the first hour on that. Now we'll dive in.
Take the next 3 hours, Sunday.
No, we're going to try to do it quick because we still got football.
Jeff's got shit to do. Jeff's got
no, fine for the next hour, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, God, this is a big card.
It's a big card. All right, so we are going to dive into AEW All Out. Right now, there are 14 matches booked for the 0 hour and the card combined. Tony Khan on the media call today said they might even be adding another one possibly tomorrow night on Rampage. We will see.
And a Fish concert and
Dave Matthews, all these people showing up. But we'll dive right at the top. 0 hour. We have 3 matches booked for 0 hour. And we'll start right with the one I'm looking forward to the most, even though I'm looking forward to all 3. But it is Tomohiro.
Last pay-per-view.
What is it?
Isn't that 3 more matches than they had in the last pay-per-view?
They
didn't do anything.
No. So they had Tomohiro Ishii going up against Eddie Kingston. Pluggo, I'll let you lead this one.
So Sammy called him fat for not having the match now.
Well, I mean Tony Khan referenced this on the media call today. He was asked about it. Sean Ross Sapp was actually the one that asked him about it. And he said that he thinks that they're open to have that match and rekindle it down the line. But right now it takes 3 to tango. And Tony Khan is the only one who's willing to be tangoing right now. So that tells me that Kingston and Sammy are not on good terms, even to the point of even working with each other. So we got Ishii and Kingston.
Hard hitting, I think.
Oh yeah,
Kingston wins.
Okay.
I don't ever really pick against Eddie Kingston. I love him so much.
I mean, I can't blame you. I love the guy.
And I think they're eventually building him to get back into the title picture.
That's fair. I wouldn't mind him being the one-off guy to challenge for whoever the champion will be at like Grand Slam in New York or something like that. I think that if they built him properly in a short amount of time, you maybe could swing that. But Jeff, we'll go down to you. What are we thinking about Ishii and Eddie Kingston here? The 2, right? This is they're booking it as 2.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, like their second.
Kingston needs to relax diva-ish a little bit. Kingston, of course, hard-hitting, crowd pleaser. I don't know if this starts 0 hour or ends 0 hour because you don't burn them out going into the match.
Yeah.
At the same time, you don't want to piss a lot of people off who are just coming into the arena that they just missed it. So, but it'll be interesting where it's placed. But Kingston's winning this.
Yeah, and I agree with the both of you. I don't have much more to add to what you two said, but I agree. I think that
seems to be becoming a theme with AEW, by the way, is like people are getting mad at the promos that are getting cut on other people, and it's like, but you guys came here for that kind of freedoms because the other company would have scripted it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but everything's different. I think it just, the element of what's going on with WWE adds into this stuff with AEW.
No, I think even Triple H is he's still got a pretty tight group.
Yeah, but I do feel like you can kind of tell right away that like some of the stuff is more free over there already.
Right. But let's not get mad because he called you.
They're wrestling fans. They got to find something to be mad about.
Anyway,
don't we?
I'm talking about the wrestlers. I'm not.
All right.
I'm talking about Punk had issue with what Hangman said.
Yeah,
Kingston's
got
issues
at some point you got to be
like,
adults. Like Jeff
guys,
said, being
like,
a little diva-ish.
Talk this shit out beforehand, because
you're trying to sell a match, guys. Like it's business. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. But I agree with you guys. I think it's Eddie Kingston's to win. I think it'll be a good match. They'll chop the crap out of each other and be violent, but Eddie Kingston needs it. Ishii is not an AEW wrestler. Very easy decision, I think, for me. We then move to a singles match for the FTW Championship. It'll be the champion, Pluggo's favorite, Hook, going against Angelo Parker.
Hook wins, hands down, done.
I agree. I think Hook, easy victory here. Not much to discuss. Yeah, I think all three of us are on that train. Oh, you're going to do the... That's wow.
I can't do it.
That's pretty good. That's a good impression. That's a good impression of Hook.
It's just going to be like, champ's here. He's gonna hook him. He's going to leave.
All right. And then we have, I don't know if it will be the main event. I don't know. But we have for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship, we have making his in-ring return to AEW, Kip Sabian, challenging the champion, Pac. Jeff, I'll let you lead this one. Kip literally just came back on last week's Dynamite. Yeah, and he's already in this title match with Pac. What do you think's going to happen here? How do we feel about Kip Sabian being thrown right in after being not in the ring for a year, almost like over a year? So it was a long time, being thrown right into a championship match.
Yeah, a year, and they build this, and he's on the pre-show. God, everything about wrestling logic tells you he comes back and wins the title, but there's no way in hell anybody would want that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this has just kind of been a waste, to be honest with you. This could have waited till after All Out and to do it on Dynamite or whatever, but they chose not to.
Match.
Yeah,
Pac. I mean, I could see Penelope Ford costing Pac the match here to a little bit of that thing, because that's the only way. That's the only way Kip doesn't come off the geek here. Yeah. But he's a geek, so beat him, Pac.
There you go.
You got
Pluggo.
Tim in the chat saying Pac.
Yeah, Tim's agreeing.
With our buddy Tim, I love him, but
I'm going with how I say it on TV as opposed to how I say it. I say Pac also.
Pac.
They more say Pac, don't they?
Yeah, they say Pac.
Yeah, this is a weird, like, we didn't need this, and it felt like he was in a box all year. And then he's back. He's going after Pac. Like, let him talk a little bit. Why are you going after Pac? Why are you getting in the middle of this? Why is this a thing? And then build it to, like you said, something on a Dynamite. This is a perfect, 9 o'clock hour Dynamite match.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Pac wins.
Yeah. And I'm in agreement with both you guys. I think Pac wins. I think, yeah, I mean, I'm glad Kip's back. Like, that's cool. That's all well and good. I'm glad they're giving him a good spotlight right on the comeback, but he's not beating Pac, and yeah, I don't think there's much to add there. All right, so now we will move to the main card. 11 matches lined up for the main card. I'm just going to go in order according to Wikipedia. So we will start with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, going one-on-one with Tony Khan kept calling him Lionheart, Chris Jericho. So I think we're sticking with that rebranding of the Lionheart again for this one. But Pluggo, I'll let you go first. Danielson and Jericho. I'm assuming Daniel Garcia will be in the mix here again of some sort. That seems to be, he's like the centerpiece of this story is based around him. Pluggo, I'll let you lead. Who do you think's getting the victory here between Danielson and Jericho?
Danielson.
Fair.
I think that, and I know it's an easy layup to think Garcia is going to turn on Jericho, but I think this is all part of it. I think eventually Garcia's loyalty will be to Jericho.
You think so?
Help. Yeah, I do. I think that there's still some meat to that bone. Plus, I know Garcia. My thing has always been, if you're going to do this, like, Garcia needs to just go away from both of you, right? Like, I think he should just be on his own as a single star, because I think that that's where he's trending. That's where he's going to be. But I think in this situation, I think he sticks with Jericho, helps Jericho get the win. Jericho somehow gets the win here. I don't love it, because I don't know how. I don't like beating Danielson. I just don't. But I think that's where they go. And then eventually maybe we get a Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society thing.
My co-host over on the Dynamite Show, Fight Game, Paul Fontaine, also thinks that this is a complete swerve to get
So I'm not crazy.
Okay. You're not crazy.
Okay.
But I hate that. But I hate the idea.
I hate it too, but
because you know what it is? It's just like the Wardlow turn where it's like you had a hot time to do it and you bailed on it and it wasn't as hot when you came back to it. You gotta turn him here. And I think eventually Garcia screws Jericho from cheating and he gets beat by Danielson, and then Jericho ends up screwing up Garcia's pure title match next week against
Hold on.
That's a good one.
What did you just say to me?
Wait, what happened?
You were like, oh, Danielson, but Jericho, but Danielson.
Get off the screen.
Yeah. He is. Pluggo's been freaking. Pluggo's been flip flopping all night over there in that corner. I think this, but I don't know this. I think this.
So I think Jericho wins in a shitty way.
No, okay. I think Danielson, they go with the crowd pleaser. It's Danielson here.
Yeah.
You can't always please the crowd.
I mean, well, they'll have plenty of time not to with 14 matches. So I agree with Jeff. I think Danielson wins. Look at, and we talked about it last week, and I said it then, and we talked about it on Sidecast. There was a specific reason why Daniel Bryan mentioned Wheeler Yuta, Lee Moriarty, and Daniel Garcia in that first promo to Jon Moxley. There was a specific reason. And Daniel Garcia, obviously he joined Jericho's group, and we're a little bit further along because Wheeler has been with the Blackpool Combat Club for a while now. But I think there was specific reason because of that. And that's because eventually those three guys are going to be part of the Blackpool Combat Club. And I do think it's going to be drawn out a little further. Like, I don't think Garcia is immediately joining on Sunday during All Out and screwing Jericho on purpose or anything like that. They're going to stretch it out a little bit longer, but I think eventually this ends with Garcia joining the BCC. Like, that's how this ends. I just think it was very deliberate of why Danielson mentioned his name. So I have Danielson winning with some sort of Garcia causing a distract. I don't know, however it goes. But I have Danielson winning as well, and this kind of continuing for a little bit before Garcia does eventually leave Chris Jericho. That's just where I think it's heading. So, all righty. We will move on. We have a 6-man tag team match that was just announced the other night on Dynamite, last night. It is the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews against the Dream Team we never knew we needed. Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro. Jeff, I will lead with you. What are we thinking about this match, and who do we think leaves the victors here?
It's a good question, especially given that Black's status with the company and the rumors that he may have asked for his release and was denied, along with a couple other guys who have win over in the WWE who I think they miss. I don't know. Because I think this is going to be able to set up Miro and Sting against Malachi Black eventually. And the House of Black just lost in this tournament.
Yep.
Boy, I can see them pinning Sting here. I think the House of Black will get the win, and it'll eventually get to one-on-one between Malachi and Miro. But I think this will be the catalyst for it. I'm not, and I confident. If we were doing a confidence poll, this would be the one I am the least sure about, because I could see Sting, Darby, and Miro pulling this out over, say, Buddy Matthews, who also asked for his release, but allegedly. But yeah, I think the House of Black wins this.
Yeah, and I'll let you go last here. I agree. I don't have a ton to add to that. I do think, there were the reports of people reaching out to AEW people, hey, you interested in coming back? And then the release rumors, that does cause concern about maybe where this does go. You know what I mean? But for me, objectively, House of Black needs a victory way more than the other three, in my opinion. I know Darby he did win the coffin match against Brody King. That was a big win. But Darby has cooled down a lot over the last, he's in this tag team with Sting. It's cool. They have great matches where Sting's diving off shit. Like, I get it. But Darby Allin, the first year and a half of this company, was he was one of the most over top of the card type guys they had. And now he's been kind of just mingling down here for a while now. So a loss, I think, doesn't affect him really. But, I mean, he could use a big win, like a real big win. But House of Black needs a win way more than the other three guys, in my opinion. So I'm leaning with House of Black here. And Plug, I'll let you kind of take us home with this one before we continue to move on here.
Well, I think House of Black can win it. And I think Miro could be pissed at Sting and Darby, like, hey, what the hell? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still keep his edge. And then maybe he starts to kick the crap out of Sting and something or whatever. And then maybe Black gets involved. And even he's like, that's too far, bro. And then they get the singles match. There's a way to do it where everybody involved looks strong. This again, I would have probably just saved this for a Dynamite main event, but that's just me. Yeah, so I'm going to go with the House of Black.
All right. So I think we were all in agreement
Alex, there. I'm going with the House of Black.
All right. Very confident pick of the House of Black. No wavering this time. But all three of us going with the House of Black.
Cool shit.
Yeah, he'll jump off something.
He's going to talk about his hot wife. House of Black's going to win it.
All right. Cool. All right. We then have a casino ladder match with the winner, the winner will receive a future AEW World Championship match. This will be an 8-man ladder match, and we know 7 of the participants. Those participants are Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli, Ring of Honor Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta, Penta El Zero Miedo, Rey Fenix, Rush, Andrade El Idolo, and Dante Martin, with the 8th, the Joker, being TBD, to be determined. So we'll start with Jeff again. Oh, Jeff's gone. Pluggo's gone. We lost Pluggo. Pluggo disappeared. So me and Jeff are going to take this. Leave it to Pluggo. Jesus. You make fun of him for wavering once and he just disappears. Can't hold up to the pressure. There he is.
There he is.
He's back.
You're
messing with the buttons.
Well, I have the MacBook, and apparently if you hold down to keep it, get off the screen. What are you doing? Justice for Pluggo. And I just went I must have got stuck.
I don't need your excuses, Pluggo. You're back, all right?
I shot it off.
Anyway, what I was going to say was we'll lead with Jeff again. Why don't we get a guess of who you think the Joker, your pick for the Joker, and then who you think will win the casino ladder match and be in line for an AEW World Championship match.
I'm going the other way. The Joker's winning this.
Okay.
Johnny Gargano.
And unless there's a small chance that they push some sort of Blackpool Comic Club main event and Moxley somehow pulled out of his ass and they had that as a main event on a Dynamite or something.
That's right.
The weird thing is logic would tell you that because each competitor has a partner in there and that this would be somebody connected to Dante Martin. So you think, Leo Rush, or if his brother could come back. I could see a way where this is Hangman Page, especially because I think the best friends have a chance of winning on tomorrow's Rampage.
Okay.
I'm going to go chalk here, though. And I know your producer already knows this, so I'm going MJF.
Really? Here's the thing. I know there's rumors about MJF. I think this would be I don't think that's big enough for an MJF return. I know, if he wins and has an automatic AEW championship match, I understand. But I think for an MJF return, I feel like that would be kind of anticlimactic a little bit if he was just the Joker. No? And plus, as we go on with this, I might have MJF involved here in a little bit, so I don't want to tip my hand too much. But that is the heavy rumor that it is going to be MJF. I can easily see why you're leaning that way, but I just kind of feel like MJF's kind of maybe above it.
I thought it would just be some random high flyer to do cool stuff here, but then I can't explain who would get who'd be worthy of a world title shot here. But remember, it doesn't have to be on pay-per-view. It can be on a Dynamite.
That is true.
So
that is true.
I like Page to be the Joker. But everything in your head says at the end in Chicago with Punk with that chip coming out there.
Mm-hmm.
and challenging whoever has the title. So yeah, I'm going with Jeff here, and I think I think it might even be one of those things the Joker doesn't come out until later in the match.
Yeah, just right at the end and kind of snags it, Brock Lesnar style or something like
that.
All right, Pluggo. I'll go to you, and then I'll finish up with me on this one before we move on.
So Johnny's out.
Johnny's back in the Fed, man.
Yeah,
he's back in the Fed.
And I think Braun's out too.
I think
Braun.
I think Leo's out. I think he left with some bad taste in his mouth with Tony Khan from the whole Big Swole stuff.
Maybe.
So I think, but the Darius Martin makes sense. Maybe.
I don't think he's ready though. I don't think he's
ready. I mean, yeah, MJF sounds like the move, I guess. I can't think of anything that would be worthy. Maybe an Impact guy, maybe like they bring back Morrissey or something.
I mean, he just showed up last night.
Mike Bailey would be dope in a ladder match. That would be insane. Chris Bay, Trey Miguel. If you just
they have guys on their own.
In the X division.
Here's my thing, though. They have guys on their own roster that could use it. And
Sammy would fit here.
And I think he's a choice. He's not my choice, but he's one of the few names that I was like, Sammy could
out for a while that maybe.
And Sammy, obviously before everything went down, Eddie Kingston issued him the challenge. So I think they were expecting Sammy to be fighting on this card against Eddie Kingston before everything went down. Sammy is a good name to throw out there. Adam Cole, that would be a good one if he's cleared and good to go. Yeah. Another one, and I know Jeff said Hangman Adam Page. What about Ethan Page?
Ethan Page was my first original pick before I started thinking about
that's kind of where I'm leaning. Like his new character with the promos he's cut. He's with Stokely now. Yeah, he hasn't been presented as getting big wins on television and stuff like that. But
he cut the promo and then they didn't put him on TV for 2 weeks. Really. So it's either going to be he's here, he wins, or they just drop the story for a while. I can't tell.
That's where my mind's been going, and I completely understand the MJF.
I like the Ethan Page pick.
Yeah, I completely understand the MJF pick. It is an easy way to get him right back to where he needs to be, which is taking the title. But I just think MJF is like slightly above it. That's just how I feel. So I'm going with Ethan Page, and I think Ethan Page is winning it. And I think, that's an easy Dynamite or Rampage main event. You add whoever's going to be the champion versus Ethan Page. They have a banger match. Ethan probably loses, but he can still look very good in it and kind of level up.
I'll give one that Paul gave me that blew my mind that I hadn't even thought of, but it's a possibility. And he might be way too above this. Will Ospreay here.
Yeah. Now that they lost last night, that would be really good. That would be really good.
Because he's given the I'll be back later type of tweet. And it's like, what if that's a swerve?
And I heard Dragon Steamboat is out there.
I heard Sean Ross Sapp was talking about it on Listing Your Boy this week. He said he doesn't know where this person's at, obviously, with their recovery and stuff. But like, what if Jeff Hardy's better and healthy?
No.
Like, I think no, too. But he had mentioned it. Like, that's a big... You know what I mean? Again, I think
he could boot out of the building, to be honest.
Yeah, I think there's a dozen other people you can pick, but I'm just saying if you want that, you know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that are out there.
Dragon Lee's out there.
What is it? Yeah,
put Matt Hardy in the match.
You could. There's a lot of choices.
Kota Ibushi.
All right. Cool. So we will continue on. Now we got to go ourselves.
And this is only this show's going to start at 7.
Oh, it's going
matches we've talked. This is 10:30.
Not ending till 1 p.m. Eastern time. 100%. 1 a.m. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Luckily for Jeff,
thank God it's Labor Day.
LA,
it's Labor Day, so if you work,
get over at 4 in the afternoon.
It'll still be at 10 p.m. my time.
I know. It's wonderful. I can't imagine. I think about it for football, which we'll dive into in a little bit here. But like, you wake up at 10 a.m. Have a coffee. Games are on. Jeez. Wonderful.
I still like to have it start at 1 and that afternoon, the morning news stuff. And
Hey, Josh, good to see you, my friend. We are in the middle of our all-out picks. Always good to see you, friend of the show. Love Josh. Him and I did a fun sim for Clash at the Castle on WWE 2K22 over on his channel. So go check that out. Those are always a blast. We did that on Tuesday. That was a lot of fun. All right. So we have a couple grudge matches back-to-back here. We will go with the first one. It is Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I think I'll lead with this one. I think Ricky Starks is going to win. I think Ricky Starks Hobbs is very good as well, but I think they know what they have in Ricky Starks. I hope they do. And that's a guy that the crowd is super over, and he's a guy that could be at the top of the company, top of the card. I think this is a typical little guy versus big guy coming from underneath, and Ricky Starks ends up with the victory here. Pluggo, I'll go to you next. What do you think about Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs?
No disrespect to Hobbs, because I think Hobbs is phenomenal, and I think he's a future world champion. It's Ricky Starks. This is his. We're going to start this trajectory of getting him into the world title picture. I don't think I need to say much more than that. Dude's a star.
Yeah. Jeff?
I agree, but it would be interesting with Hobbs having killed him twice. If maybe Starks just isn't ready to beat him, and they tell the story, him rebuilding his way back in, they won't, because they're not good at it. So they're gonna have Starks win there.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement there. So, all right, cool. And then we have our second grudge match of the night. This one, I've enjoyed this story a lot. We have Christian Cage going one-on-one with Jungle Boy. Jeff,
Man, now he's
Jungle Man. I know, yeah. Jeff, I'll lead with you. How have you liked this feud, especially more recently? And who do you think is going to be winning here at All Out between Jungle Boy and Cage?
It hasn't been a great feud, but they've done a lot of good things in it. Like the shots of Jungle Boy when he ran back to try and take him out there and getting held at that last moment when he dove for him. Loved the go home promo. I thought Jungle Boy did a very good job of saying, no, this isn't going to be a match with Jungle Boy. There's going to be a fight with Jack Perry. I thought that was a very strong line. Christian has the out of his wounded elbow, so he can whine about and say, "Oh, I thought you loved me, but would somebody let me do that?" Blah 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 blah. Look, I think unfortunately this is going to be a little sports entertaining, because I don't think Luchasaurus really turned babyface. I think Luchasaurus is still a heel, because he has done nothing, and to make me question that. He's cleared out security guys. He's never touched Christian, and he's never really fought for Jungle Boy.
And he turned real quick back to the Jungle Boy.
He did, very quick.
So
very little
explanation. I think this is a ruse. I think this is a feud must continue type thing. I could see Jungle Boy winning the match and then getting beaten down by Luchasaurus afterwards, or I could see Luchasaurus winning it for Christian. It tells me that Christian wins this by Luchasaurus interference, but I could see it the other way where Jungle Boy gets the win, but I don't think that's going to happen.
All right. I like where your head's at. I like that. It was a very quick. I loved when Christian was kind of in charge of Luchasaurus, I loved the heel turn. I loved that everything they did there. I was like, oh, I'm in on this. And then they just turned him real quick with like you said, no explanation, nothing really besides the fact that Jungle Boy just came back, and that was it. So I kind of like where your head. That's a good idea. I like that.
And that's the reason why I don't think that I think the Daniel Garcia thing is a ruse, because you don't want two of those on the same show. That's
fair. So Pluggo, I'll slide over to you. What do you think's going down between? And I know you're not the biggest Christian Cage fan, but what's your opinion with Jungle Boy and Christian?
The lack of respect for workers. He don't do no work anyway. Jim Ross, Jim Ross came in his pants, right? When he called himself Jack Perry.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot.
That's the only reason he called himself Jack Perry, is because JR was running that interview, I bet.
It's I'm gonna pop this old guy real quick. Watch this. I think it should be Jungle Boy, but I think Christian wins. I think because you'll get them just shit heel. They'll figure out a way. I do agree. I think the Luchasaurus thing is still up in the air. Maybe there's something else at play here, but I think it's also the story they're going to tell is this is the most emotional we've ever seen Jungle Boy. He is just rattled right now, and this might be that one where he's just too fired up and it cost him. So that's where I'm leaning. I don't agree with it, because like I said, Christian Cage, but he'll actually have to do some work on All Out. I'm excited for that.
I agree with you, Pluggo. I think going into it, looking at it, you're like, oh, this is Jungle Boy's big moment where he's going to get a big signature win at the big pay-per-view, blah, blah. But I do think there's I liked what Jeff said about the Luchasaurus aspect. I think that kind of swayed me a little bit, because looking back on it and with him saying it is true, he definitely hasn't laid a finger on Christian. So that was kind of good. So I think I'm going to go with you guys here. Originally, I had Jungle Boy on my mind, but I do think I could see this going further than just one match, one blow-off match. I could see it being a multiple match thing, especially if you add the Luchasaurus aspect to it of him maybe not being on Jungle Boy's side and sticking with Christian and adding that layer of maybe Jungle Boy needs to go through Luchasaurus and then to get to Christian one more time. You know what I mean? I think that could be a good story, especially with the size difference and the way they could play that off. So you guys have kind of swayed me here. So I think I'm gonna join the crew and I'm gonna go with Christian here too. So good job by you guys, huh? All right, cool. Now we have a 6-man tag team match. It is Wardlow and FTR, the belt collectors, going up against Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Very cool to see the Motor City Machine Guns on this card. Jeff, I will lead with you. How do you feel about where Wardlow's at first? I will ask how you feel. Obviously, going into Double or Nothing, I felt like he was one of the main 2 or 3 stories, and then everything went down, and he kind of got pushed to the back burner. He talked about it on a podcast, that was a video that was making rounds, which, you can't help but feel bad for the guy because of how that went down, but he's made the most of it. He still gets the chance. He still gets the pops from the crowd, but it's clearly not at the level that it was when that whole thing was going down at its peak. So how do you feel about Wardlow and just this match in general here?
They're trying too hard to make him Goldberg with the chants and stuff, I think, and Wardlow's world thing. Yes, he is the TNT champ in a company that now has 48 belts on the damn show or thereabouts. Definitely cooled off. Definitely, I mean, I'm not saying you should turn him heel, but I mean, who knows? Cold. There is absolutely no logic to the Motor City Machine Guns being here other than being there, because it's not a good strategic to take 2 small guys against Wardlow when you have Satnam Singh available. So the way I see it is that Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns are not going to get along because people want to cheer the Motor City Machine Guns, and they're ill cast as heels here. To set up an FTR Motor City Machine Guns title match, probably for the ROH tag titles, I think, or something to that effect. And that Wardlow ends up pinning Jay Lethal, and that's how that ends. Pluggo, I don't know if you're feeling the same. I'm in full agreement. I think Wardlow and FTR win this match. I think Wardlow does get the pinfall over Lethal. And I think Jeff's right. I think the this is, when it was announced, it was cool. The Motor City Machine Guns being on the card is coolish. That's just awesome. I don't think people are going to want to boo them, but people are going to want to boo Jay Lethal, and it's going to be weird. And I just, I'm going in thinking Wardlow and FTR are winning anyway. But I think maybe, I agree with Jeff there. So I'm leaning that way. Plug. I'll let you round it out here before we start diving into all the title matches we have on this card.
I'll keep it. I feel like this is a weird spot to bring the Motor City Machine Guns, but I don't think this is what we want. We want FTR Machine Guns.
I think you could have just announced a tag team title match, right? And it would have been.
But what is their involvement here? Like, I know it's cool, but like it doesn't. They don't have any. What do they got beef with that Wardlow for right now? So I think it's a Wardlow gets the win type thing. Maybe we get the FTR Motor City. I just don't really have any interest. And we talk about cooling off with Darby Allin. Wardlow has cooled off significantly, in my opinion.
And so is FTR. Actually, Dax was having a Wrestler of the Year run here, and they're barely on this pay-per-view. They weren't in the trios title picture at all. This is. And I don't know if they're unhappy or not, but I know they weren't happy that this didn't lead to all the marbles against the Bucks.
I mean, that's where we all thought months ago that if you would have queued it up, you would have said, "Oh, that's a no-brainer." That's a no-brainer. That would be the Bucks and them for all the gold. But now they're.
I'm gonna run with. I'll roll with a Wardlow and FTR because, but like this is again.
I do.
It's a Wednesday night match.
Well, yeah, and I do think of all the matches on the card, and it's crazy to say that because, I mean, I love FTR like everybody, but I do think this is the match on the card that I easily care the least about. Easily. No fault of the people that are in it. It's just, it is what it is. All right. Now we have the Aew Tbs Championship Match. We have the champion Jade Cargill bringing her undefeated streak into it versus Athena. Pluggo, I'll let you lead. I know that I'm sticking with Jade. I don't think Athena will be the one who eventually ends that streak. I do think they should be looking to get that belt off Jade sooner than later so she can move up to the AEW Women's Championship area.
This is where you do it.
You think this is where you do it? All right, cool. Yeah, go ahead, man. Because I'm still sticking with Jade and keeping the undefeated streak. But go ahead.
I love Jade.
Tell me why Athena.
I love Jade Cargill. I think she's fantastic. I think all the things you said are true. She needs to be in the world title picture. But you have Athena, who's awesome. And what has Athena done since she's been there? Stop, start. But she's the type of TBS champion that, like, if she was signed when the belt was in the tournament, you would have wanted her to win it because of the work rate titles. And this has been a great vehicle for Jade. But I think it's time. We got an opportunity here with Thunder Rosa being out, which we'll talk about, and the Fatal 4-Way of giving a new challenger to that person. And you didn't have to. I just think it's time. I hate it in the sense that I love Jade, but I also love Athena. So I think it's time. Athena wins. Okay. That's your big title change here at All Out so far for me.
Okay, that's fair. Jeff, what are you thinking when it comes to this one here?
Tony loves Athena. I knew as soon as she was released, she's gonna bring him over over here. He didn't realize is that she's a notoriously bad promo. I have a little inside baseball. Someday I'll share it with you. Maybe I'll share it with you off the air about her time in WWE. But no, Jade's getting to 50.
Yeah, I think that's the number at least.
I think they have a real problem because they don't know who's going to now take the title off of Jade because originally it's going to be Chris Statlander.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
And now those plans have gone down the wayside. I think it was originally going to be somebody else who is going to be for 25 when she was playing, green Corvettes or Lamborghinis and green confetti and stuff. I think she was supposed to lose there, and she didn't.
Yeah.
So now they're in a real trouble because it has to be somebody big to do it. I have the strong feeling they're going to try and rebuild Willow Nightingale to try and take this from her.
I would be okay.
You got to sign her first.
Yeah, I would sign her if they haven't even announced it.
She has merchandise in the official Shop AEW store.
Give her the graphic then, Tony. What the hell are we waiting for?
I think they're going to try and make it an event that she was signed, even though she really signed.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to try and build her and use the losses that she already had to Jade to get the title finally. Jade wins this.
I agree. I think Jade wins
it. I'm on an island chilling.
It's okay. I would love.
Come on, Lobo.
I would love that to happen with Willow Nightingale. I was at the event where Willow Nightingale was being cheered so loud that they turned Red Velvet heel because of it. I was at that match where Red Velvet beat her, and that whole crowd was like, nope, that's not what we wanted. And they literally turned her heel because of that reaction. So, yeah, I think Willow is a superstar that they could really build to be a big deal in their women's roster. And beating Jade would be a thing to do it. So that would be good. All right, well, we just kind of referenced it a few times in that. So why don't we hop to the Fatal 4-Way for the interim AEW Women's World Championship. Obviously, Thunder Rosa is hurt, but she will be hanging on to the title, but we will have an interim one. And the 4 women involved, we saw in a tag match last night, which I actually thought was a pretty good match, but it's Toni Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida. Jeff, I will let you lead with this 4-way. How do you feel about the way they went with this direction with the interim women's championship and having it in a 4-way style? And who do you think's leaving as the interim champion here?
I hate 4-ways.
Okay.
Because they're messes. It's much easier to tell a simple story between 2 people who hate each other or dislike each other in a 1-on-1 match. I could have dealt with 3 of these women being in a 1-on-1 match against each other, to be honest with you, for this title. I think Shida's been doing some great rebuilding work. If you didn't watch that Emi Sakura match on AEW Dark Elevation this week, I think it was, for whatever Regina DeWave title she has. Really good. And she's doing good work. And I liked this tag match a lot on the go home because it didn't play into the can they coexist on both teams. Should win Toni Storm because they've been building to this moment. They were building to her beating Thunder Rosa a couple times and they never pulled the trigger on it. So I don't think they're going to. Will win DMD. She's gonna bin Jamie Hayter.
You think so?
Yes, I think it's gonna be. She's gonna turn on her own stablemate. It's gonna start that split up, and because let's face it, Britt Baker's gonna want a good promo in the division, even though it's an overpowering promo, and she has a bit of a Charlotte Flair problem, in my opinion. But it's gonna be Britt Baker until they find someone else who can hang with her on the stick.
It's fair. Pluggo? What are you thinking?
I can't disagree with him. I mean, I think it should be Tony, but they did this like when the intro title for the men's happened. I said, "Here's your opportunity to go do something crazy, do something different, try some stuff."
Yes.
And they went the safe way. They went with Mox, and it worked out, I guess. But there was an opportunity. There's another one. It's an opportunity to play it safe, or go with something off the wall and try some things. I think they're going to play it safe. I think a lot of the criticisms that Tony's getting up at the women's division, Britt was consistently a part of that show week in, week out.
I still say that as far as
Thunder
AEW.
Rosa and Britt Baker ultimately is your money draw. But I think it should be Tony.
Yeah, I mean,
they sabotaged her with those stupid vignettes with Tony Schiavone in the back, and they kept on being like getting interrupted. Toni Storm was never able to get over because she was never able to cut a promo.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and I do feel like it should be Tony as well. But as far as the AEW Women's World Champion, I mean, Britt Baker is the only person that's held that title that they, in my opinion, have presented like a real star. And that's the problem. That's part of the problem. But I think it should be Toni Storm. I do. I feel like it should be Toni Storm. So I'm going to stick with it, kind of to be different from you two. But I understand completely, like the safe
island, bro.
The safe play. Like I get it. And, you know, I do think Britt Baker is becoming, like you said, a Charlotte Flair problem. I think even with the crowd a little bit, she's still over. But if she wins, I could see some backlash, because I think there was backlash towards the end of her reign where people were like, okay, like, we get it. You're really good, but like, give me something new. I need something new here. It's been the same thing here. So
yeah,
go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think there is one other person who can now carry this division. I think that's Serena Deeb.
Yeah.
I think Serena Deeb has that heel persona down and to carry it as a heel champion. I know a lot of people are going to be saying, Riho. I don't. I've seen one Riho match. I've seen all.
Mm-hmm.
Yuka Sakazaki, I would have loved to be champion.
I think she's never
there either.
Awesome.
But
I wouldn't mind Jamie Hayter pulling the upset and having Britt be
that'd be interesting.
Angry / that's a way you could start that dissension between them two, and that would be doing something different.
Be the
and Jamie Hayter's excellent, so I think that would be fun. That would be fun.
That's right.
I'd like to hear if Jamie Hayter could cut a promo.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly don't know.
That's why Spencer doesn't give me the pen in Love Pro Wrestling to book anything, because I just be like, let them all we'll figure it out.
Yeah, But I think
start the dissension.
I'm gonna stick with Toni Storm as my pick here, but I would love to see Jamie Hayter win it, just for the layers of stories you can kind of go with it, because we don't know how long Thunder Rosa is going to be out. So if she's out for 2 months, it's not like the winner of this match is, you can have stories before she comes back and kind of figure that out after. You know what I mean? But I'm going to stick with Toni Storm here.
No, Rio.
All right, cool. Now we are going to move on to the AEW World Tag Team Championships. We have the champions Swerve in our glory. Hayter pinning Baker is kind of the opposite of what Jeff said. I think that could work too. Hab guy. I think it could work. We have Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defending against the acclaimed Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. Pluggo, I'll let you lead this one. Who do you think is leaving All Out as the AEW Tag Team Champions?
Swerve and Keith Lee.
Fair.
I'm never gonna not pick against Swerve.
Yeah, Swerve's amazing. I mean, Keith Lee's.
The Acclaimed,
I actually like all the Acclaimed is lifted up in my view
they
of like I like the Acclaimed.
They should. They're. I think they're overdue for a tag title run, and I don't know if maybe you want to start the dissension with Swerve and Keith, but I think they win it. I think.
Well, it's weird because they did start the dissension with Swerve and Keith, and then they were just like, no, never mind, and now they're just, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I think it's Swerve and Keith Lee as well, but I've always liked Anthony Bowens a lot. And obviously Caster had that stuff with the early raps that he got in trouble for and like kind of stuff like that. But the Acclaimed have really won me over recently. Like they are very entertaining. I never would have thought they would be as over as baby faces as they actually are right now. They are super over. The Billy Gunn stuff, take it for what it is, but that's funny to me. I stupid humor like that makes me laugh still. But yeah, it's Keith Lee and Swerve for me all day retaining here. I'll let you kind of finish this one up for us.
I like the Acclaimed a lot. They make me laugh.
Yeah.
I'm very entertained by them. They don't deserve a title shot.
I don't disagree.
It's literally the program that they're giving them a pity shot.
Yeah.
Which would make you think change the titles here just to shock us all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the point other than to get the rap, get the applause. I think Billy Gunn tries to get the win. May cheat a little bit here, but yeah, this is a match where you need to either use this and put this in your back pocket and build for the Acclaim to become a main event act, or you're just wasting our time, frankly. Yep. So swerve in our glory.
All right, Hab guy, there it is. Scissor me, daddy ass. Yep. I laugh hysterically. Like when they broke up, when Billy turned on him, I was devastated. I was like, no, but it ended up being okay. All right, we are down to our last 2 matches on this card
of the 20 match bang.
Yeah. Hey, we did it pretty good. And then we'll have some time for the NFL. We'll get the hell out of here. But we have what will be the tournament final for the inaugural AEW World Trios Championships. Now, as of this show, we do not know who the second team will be.
It doesn't even matter.
I agree. I probably agree. But it is the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks going against TBD, which we know will either be the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, Chucky T, and Trent, or the Dark Order, which will be Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and now, as we found out last night, one Hangman Adam Page. I did like your idea of possibly Hangman being the Joker, but I think the adding of Hangman, for me, and again, I know you might be leaning more Best Friends, you said earlier, Jeff. For me, Hangman being added makes that decision of who's winning tomorrow easier for me, because for me, I want Hangman in the match with his former best friends in the Elite and Kenny and all that. The story of the match makes more sense with Hangman being involved. I think the like Pluggo said, who cares? I think for me, the Elite's winning no matter who it is. But I think with Hangman finally being added last night, I think it'll be against the Dark Order with Hangman being there just for that extra layers of story. Jeff, I'll have you go next, but I think the Elite is winning and they're going to be the first. Tony Khan came out publicly and said he was waiting for Kenny Omega to come back before he did a trios tournament, probably because he wants to put the belts on Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. It makes sense. So that's where I'm going.
And they should.
Of course. And
that is where my head is going. But I'll be the lone wolf here. I'm gonna. Yes. Here's the story I'm gonna tell with them, because I think also Kenny and the Bucks and Tony love blue balling. Blue balling the audience. Love not giving you that moment that everyone wants, because everybody has. Everybody has Elite versus Dark Order.
Yep.
I don't think that happens. Watch this. Here is my story that they're going to tell, I think, possibly. Where I'm going to go lone wolf, just be called an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Best Friends beat the Dark Order.
Okay.
Perhaps Will Ospreay. It's a parting shot on Kenny on the way out. Maybe Kenny has got injured in his match with Aussie Open. The Bucks need a partner. Well, Dark Order's no longer in the tournament, so there's not going to be that kind of weirdness if Hangman decides, hey, is it okay if I hang with my old friend the Bucks, because we've been trying to mend fences here? Okay, sure. Yeah. And then the Dark Order gets a little bit wary of Hangman Page. Hangman Page and the Bucks go up against the Best Friends. Lose.
Oh, you got the Best Friends winning these.
And the Best Friends beat Hangman and the Bucks. The Bucks blame Hangman for not having the chemistry anymore. The Dark Order doesn't necessarily trust Hangman either for wanting to hang with his old friends, etc., etc. Perhaps turn to another person to lead the Dark Order. Perhaps not, but there is that story. And we continue the high school melodrama for another 3 months until we finally get the league back together in some way.
Oh, no. Hey, I don't mind
what
that.
he said. What he said.
I like different. I'm not against that at all. That would be intriguing.
Because let's put it this way: nobody's gonna get that upset. The Best Friends are the trios titles.
No, I agree. I agree. I think they would be like the crowd would feel happy for them. They would be like, yeah, all right, cool. That's not bad. That's not bad. I don't mind it. Pluggo, are you going elite though? Yeah.
But I like what Jeff said.
You should go against what I'm saying right now because it's the smartest way to go, because you want to put your titles on best people.
Yeah.
If you're introducing them, that's I mean, what I'm plotting out here is basically Aaliyah and Raquel Gonzalez winning the women's tag tournament. Just stupid.
Yeah.
And I called it stupid.
You called it.
I think this idea is genius. So yeah.
That's fair. We are at.
You convinced me though. I'll roll with you. I don't care.
I mean, I think that would be a great story. I think that would be a great story. And we have come to the main event of the evening.
And if you're still awake at this point, the show, good on you.
We have
not our show, the All Out.
What
show.
time does this go on? I'm saying we're running late already. It's
12:30. I was going to say 12:15. I was going to say that CM Punk's music will hit at 12:15. That's my guess.
Is that Bucks? Was any iteration of a Bucks Trios match is going at least
35 minutes?
35 minutes over.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. It is a rematch, as we found out last night, for the AEW World Championship. It is the champion Jon Moxley defending against CM Punk. I thought the segment last night with Ace Steel and CM Punk was very good. I thought Ace Steel played an excellent role there because he does have that history with Punk, and I loved him slapping him and saying, get your shit together, figure it out. You were embarrassed last week, but this is Chicago. This is where you're from. Sign the damn contract and beat this MFer on Sunday. Like, let's go. You're CM Punk, for Christ's sake. I like that. Pluggo, I will let you go first for this one because I know CM Punk, your favorite ever. Your favorite ever. Yeah. Who's leaving?
I don't understand this though. Like, why did we do what we did 2 weeks ago? I don't.
Tony on the media call today.
I don't understand.
He was asked about it. And he said that they wanted to try something different that they had never done before. And he said, what happened was he thinks the way they did it actually added to the intrigue and added to the show of All Out because people for a week straight were like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh, dude,
and the segment, the match was one of the highest rated segments in the history of Dynamite. And so he was very happy about how it came out. Obviously, he's going to say that he's a promoter. But he said that, I don't know. I had that same question. If you're eventually going to get to the rematch, like why do what happened last week? But we'll see. I guess we'll have to see how the match plays out. And if that, looking back on it, maybe we think differently. I don't know. But Pluggo, I'll lead with you. Who's leaving?
There's a lot of ways you can go with this because we are all talking the MJF factor. That's a huge rumor. He comes back, maybe he helps Punk, then immediately turns on Punk, like, hey, because I want to take the title off of you type thing. And it is Chicago. CM Punk does not lose in Chicago.
Not often.
Not often enough. But the way he lost it, like, just leaves this weird taste in my mouth. And it's John effing Moxley. And Moxley's at the top of his game. I'm going to go with Moxley winning.
Okay.
In Chicago. beating CM Punk, and this starts the CM Punk like heel turn that we all want, and I don't think MJF comes back.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let Jeff finish this one because I'm gonna go because I think CM Punk is turning heel in this match to win. That's what I think. Moxley's a stone cold killer. He said it. You're gonna have to outfight me, out wrestle me, outdo me. Like I don't give up. I'm like a bull. I'm gonna kill. He gets in there and he's a savage. I think CM Punk. He's going to be in Chicago, so he's going to be getting cheered no matter what. But I do think if he does something shittily, if that's a word, it's probably not, but whatever. He does something super shitty to win, I think even in Chicago, because Moxley is a very well-liked, beloved figure as well, I think there's a chance that the Chicago crowd would be like, oh, that's a shitty way to win, like, and kind of, you know what I mean? And then I do
gets cheered in his hometown.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I think CM Punk wins, and he wins heelish to win the title. And then I think All Out ends. Last year, All Out, what happened at the end? We had these debuts, these gigantic debuts that happened with Danielson and Cole and things like that. I think the gigantic thing that happens is MJF returns at the end of All Out and has the face-to-face with the champion CM Punk. Hey, we have a rubber match that's due, and it's going to be for that title. And I think that is what they do. I think that's the lasting moment of All Out is the face-off between Punk and MJF with Punk with the title. That's where we're going. And then obviously down the line, I see MJF beating Punk for the title. But I think that's how the show goes off the air. And then I will let our guest Jeff be the one to round us out of our wrestling picks before we slide over to our football picks.
This is why I also think my MJF pick as the Joker is absolutely wrong because I've been thinking about ending for this match all week.
Yeah.
Because I've hated the build to this match. I'll be honest with you. I really thought that. I liked the match last week.
Yeah.
3-minute match. I think there should be more occasional flash pin.
Oh, yeah.
I dig that. I do. Giving him a rematch 10 days later, there's no promo in the world that can build that. And I don't think they necessarily got there. I liked Ace Steel promo. I liked the second half of Punk's promo. I didn't like the melodrama. I get stuck around way too long. I have friends that did not like the Ace Steel part because it's like, why do we have this exposition guy who nobody knows come out here on TV, blah, 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 blah. We really did not appreciate it because it did not make the feud about Punk and Mox. And I think Mox needed to use his F-bomb to say FCM Punk. You also got to remember this is not Chicago necessarily. This is suburban Chicago, Aurora, whatever. This isn't the United Center crowd. This is 2011 Money in the Bank. That crowd Wednesday was the fly-in crowd because you had to buy a package deal for all 3 shows in order to get tickets to All Out.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why they weren't exactly all in on Punk.
Mm-hmm.
They were booing Mox a little, and then it changed when Mox was playing that up a little, blah, blah, blah. I do agree with the assessment that Punk turns heel to take the title. He has become so craven that he takes it. I think he does take it. I think that's a little bit unfortunate because I think Mox is kind of getting short shrift here. But picture this now. And this is my way out of left field idea. I have Punk winning this, so we'll stick with it. But after the match, MJF as a babyface, as the new voice of the voiceless, who says, I was right about you all along, type of thing, coming out here. After Punk wins, maybe a couple people come out to help celebrate with Punk. Maybe it's the people who like Bret Hart with him, FTR. Maybe we get the return of the Pinnacle. And we get all of them beating down Punk. End this, but it's a babyface beat down. I don't know if that would work, but I'm thinking this through. Where I could also see. Here's another thing. Let me put this to you because I think the Ace Steel involvement is important, as he is part of the company now. What if they try and pull a 2011 Money in the Bank here with him playing the Johnny Ace Vince McMahon role?
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Where he's just trying to ring the bell or whatever. He comes out and tries to get them to ring the bell on Mox a little too early, and that's the heel move. so to speak. And the guys who come out to stop it are the Pinnacle, perhaps. I don't know. But yes, I think this ends with MJF and Punk and stare down. And I think MJF may actually win the title in Strong Island. And they're there.
Yeah.
Well, that and Punk, the rumors and like all of a sudden the reports of his unhappiness really soured a lot of fans going, oh, CM Punk again. And unhappy in a company. So there's a lot of
I don't think Punk's unhappy. I think other people are unhappy with Punk, but that's fine. But that's who Punk is. Punk is a jerk. And this is the Punk people want, to be honest with you. They want a jerk CM Punk.
I agree.
So I am of the opinion that somehow we end up with a face. AF has always said that his goal is to beat Punk in Chicago. This is the long 1 year build, I think. And it starts that night. But it ends with Punk as the champion and Mox possibly as a number 1 contender with the poker chip in hand, possibly just as the returning hero at the end.
I like it. I like it. All right. Well, we did it, guys. We got through all the wrestling. We got through all the wrestling picks for the weekend, and there were a whole lot of them. And now we move on to our we had Jeff on for our draft watch along. He hung around for most of the draft. I believe all the draft. He was there the whole time.
That's only because his Bengals finally picked late.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to wait. He had to wait towards the end for the Bengals pick. Yeah, exactly. And we, I don't want to talk about what the Patriots did, but it's fine. I called it. Can't wait for us to go 5-12 this year. Cannot wait. We're going to be terrible this year. We're going to be bad.
What was his
Cole
name?
Strange? I don't know. He hasn't played. I told you. They were trading down and taking a third round.
Atlanta had a lacrosse player make the team. So
yeah, they were trading down, and then they were going to take a third round evaluated guard or offensive line, and that's exactly what they did. I knew it was happening. Bill Belichick's staple. But anyway, so we're going to do our NFL picks. We are going to pick our division winners, and then we are going to pick our wild cards to get all our playoff teams. We'll pick our championship games and our Super Bowl champions. That's what we're going to do here. We will start in the AFC. I know my team is in the AFC, as is Jeff's. Pluggo. You used to have a team in the AFC, but then they signed a certain quarterback and you gave up on them and you're in the search for a new team.
It's not that they signed the certain quarterback so much as that the fan base is like, he's the man.
Yeah. I mean, look at
it. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And
they
just double down on it. And all the fans were like, yeah.
Well, he's not going to be around for the first 11 weeks, so it is what it is. But we will start in the AFC, and we will start with the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills are the overwhelming favorite to win this division. It's going to hurt me to do it because I am wearing the hat of the team I've rooted for my whole life.
To do it?
I am allowed to do it. My homerism will come out later when we start talking about wild card teams. Trust me. Even though I truly think we're probably going like 6-11, but damn it, I can't do it. So, but I am picking the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East rather handily. I could see the Dolphins or the Patriots. I'm never going to go against Belichick. I still think he's the best coach in the game. I'm never going to go against them. If the Patriots end up winning 10 games, I'm not going to be shocked. But if they end up winning 5 or 6, I think that'll be more in line with what I think is going to happen. But I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Jeff, I'll slide it down to you. Who do you have as your AFC East?
It's definitely the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I thought the Jets might make a little noise. Their quarterback went down in preseason.
Yeah, I know.
Miami is an X factor of all X factors. My God. I mean, because they have a smart coach. They have a quarterback who might be good or might be on his last leg. You don't know. They've made a lot of improvements. Tyreek Hill's going to help.
Tyreek Hill, huge. Yep.
And speed kills. But look, Buffalo has a great staff in their coaching way. They have players, and they got a guy with a cannon for an arm. I can't bet, and they got a great defense, so I can't bet against them. I think they win the division.
Yep.
No shot for the Jets. They're 3-0 in the preseason, fellas. They're undefeated.
They are. The Jets odds, as of this speaking, the money line on the Jets to win the division is plus 2,200.
I think all the things you guys said. I think it's the Bills. I mean, the Bills were
I think
coin
this is
flip
probably,
away.
I think this might be the easiest division in all of football. It's crazy to say, but right? I mean,
I would agree. I think maybe the AFC South.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, I think the Bills are just leaps and bounds better than every other team in the AFC East. All right, let's slide over to the AFC North. where we have the Baltimore Ravens coming in as the favorite right now at plus 130. Then we have Jeff's Cincinnati Bengals at plus 160. And then we also have the Browns and the Steelers towards the tail end of the odds makers there.
Mrs. Pluggo's Steelers that she's
I like your wife, but I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers, so she is taking some notches down on my belt. And I know Jeff probably does too, because he's been with them his whole life as a division mate with the Bengals. I hate the Steelers because they're shit talkers, and I just hate them. They're my least favorite football team. Fuck the Steelers. Okay, that's enough for me. All right. Jeff, I'll let you go first. This is where your team presides.
Yes.
Are you going Homer?
Mike Tomlin, opposite high school as me, 1 year ahead of me. So, yeah, I do not like the Steelers at all, but I respect the Steelers, and they have the best front office in this division, and they have smart coaches. And despite it being a rebuilding year, they're gonna be around. I don't think they're gonna make playoffs, but I think they're going to be around. They're going to be in that glut in the last 2 weeks where it's like, if 3 teams win, 2 teams lose, they make the playoff.
I feel like they're
going to bust up
the
Steelers. Playoff
I don't remember what their record was last year because I know they didn't make the playoffs. But the Steelers don't seem like a team that will very rarely or ever have that 4-13 season. Like a bad year for them is 8-9. You know what I mean? 7-10. They're going to be good. Like, all right,
As you said, I am a Bengals fan, so we are always just half a step away from slitting our wrists in a bathtub about the team. The front office, though, has improved. Duke Tobin has made some fantastic moves.
I was going to say, this has to be one of the more optimistic seasons you're coming into in a long time with the Super Bowl run.
It is an optimistic season, but it is not a cocky season. And I think that's the problem. And I don't know about the Ravens. I mean, the Browns stink, so screw them. Yeah. But Ravens have some issues. They have a quarterback who wanted a contract before the season, and he didn't get it. They play stupid sometimes.
He is his own agent. Did you know that? That like he doesn't have an agent. He does everything himself.
That's even dumber.
Yeah.
He also just liked a tweet yesterday of him in a Dolphins jersey that somebody photoshopped.
Yeah. Tom Brady's going to the Dolphins. But
that's a different story. Is that the Bills are prone to lose a couple that they shouldn't, and the Ravens are prone to win a couple that they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. So I think the Ravens are going to win the division.
Okay. Pluggo, I'll go to you.
All the things that you just said, I'm going to run with the Bengals.
I was going to say,
I think they have the better offense.
Yeah.
And I think the defense will do just enough to get them there.
Here's the thing.
I wasn't even going to just glad hand because you're here.
My main
issue isn't the team, it's the coach. So
so you still, even though they made the Super Bowl run, you still don't believe
I'm not sure Zach Taylor is a play calling. I love Lou Amorono as our defensive coordinator. I think he's fantastic. He's going to be poached to be a head coach somewhere after this year. It's just one of those things where you saw it even in the Super Bowl. Zach Taylor's prone to making some mental mistakes here and then in terms of his coaching ability. He has a Ferrari right now, I think, in terms of a roster. I just don't know if he's able to drive it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I mean, I agree with Pluggo. I wasn't just doing this because you were here, but I'm picking the Bengals too. To win the division. We'll talk about playoffs and how far I think they'll go, but I think the Bengals are going to win the division. I am one of those people. I do not believe in Lamar Jackson. I just don't.
Right.
He's uber talented, super athletic. Those type of quarterbacks that are run first. Now, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Herbert, to an extent, they can run. But if you need them to throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns to come back, they can do that. I don't think Lamar Jackson can do that. I just don't think he's that type of quarterback. If he goes down by 2 touchdowns, which we've seen, you go down by 2 touchdowns in quarter 1 of a playoff game on the road, I'm sorry. I don't think Lamar Jackson can bring you back.
I agree.
That's just how I feel. And that's why I'm leaning the Bengals to win the division. The Ravens will be there. They'll be in the playoffs. They're well coached. They have another good front office. They know what they're doing. They're always there.
Lamar over Mac Jones?
No.
Oh.
No.
And I think Lamar Jackson's somewhere else next year, as a matter of fact. Too.
Yeah, and I'm not even fully bought in on Mac Jones. I got to see. I don't like what Bill has done with the coaching staff surrounding Mac Jones. I don't think he's done him any favors going into year 2, and it makes me worried. But I thought
you don't like defensive guy calling offensive plays?
I know, right? Yeah, of course. Or a special teams guy that just proved he couldn't coach a lick of football in New York. Like, let them run the fucking offense with the second-year quarterback. That was actually not one of the problems on the team last year. He was actually good last year. And I feel like going into year 2, even if we don't win, like I'm a realist. Like, we're not a Super Bowl contender by any means, but I would like to see improvement from my second-year quarterback. And I think a lot of things out of his control have not done him any favors.
Yeah, and the Bengals also have the first place schedule, which is going to be tougher.
That is true.
That's the thing that's awesome. We think that Baltimore will have a better record. I have the Bengals in the playoffs though, because of there's now 3 wild cards. So,
yeah, exactly. All right, cool. All right, so we have 2 Ravens and a Bengals there. So let's move over to the AFC South. This division is dog shit. If you want my humble opinion. The Indianapolis Colts are the favorites. They're -125. That's how much they are the overwhelming favorites to win this division. Then we have the Tennessee Titans, and then we have the Jacksonville
Jaguars. Who were the 1 seed last year?
Correct. And they have a quarterback that I also put in the Lamar Jackson standpoint of you're not winning a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill. Sorry, you're just not. Then we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then we have the Houston Texans, who they'll be lucky if they maybe win a game. Although I think Davis Mills actually might be okay. But anyway, Pluggo, I'll let you lead first. Who you think?
I was taking Tennessee.
You're taking Tennessee. Like, I mean, you can. I mean,
Jacksonville's going to be better. They're going to be better.
I think with an actual coach, I think Trevor Lawrence should be better. They do have some decent weapons on offense. I expect them to be better.
I just think that Tennessee's roster, you go from the 1 seed, it's still pretty good. In the division, you're going to get 4 games right there. And the Colts, I got to see what Matt Ryan's going to do there. And I don't.
That's fine. The defense. That's fine. They definitely have Jonathan Taylor, who I don't know if you can predict him to have the same season that he had last year, but he was the best running back in the league.
Well, that's the other thing. Their coach said, Pittman, I don't want him to have another season
but that's a good thing, though, because you don't want to run the wheels off.
I don't ever hear Mike Vrabel go, we don't want Derrick Henry to rush for 2,000
Derrick Henry is a freak of nature.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, you don't want to say that.
My thing is, I think the Tennessee Titans do have the best coach in the division. I do think Vrabel is the best coach in that division. But if Matt, I think Tennessee, I think Indianapolis has the most talented team. And if Matt Ryan if they keep him upright and protect him, and he's back there, he's shown, again, Matt Ryan is a guy that I have questions on if you can win the championship with, obviously for obvious reasons. But he's a guy that can throw for 4,000 yards and 35 to 40 touchdowns and get you into the playoffs if you protect him and make sure he's standing back there. So I'm going with the Colts to win this division here. We'll slide it down to Jeff to round this one out before we go over to the West.
I think Vrabel's the best tone head coach, but I think Frank Reich is a better X's and O's
That's
coach,
fair.
In my opinion.
Yeah, Frank Reich is a great coach too.
Yeah. Again, Vrabel's issue was he was trying to run the wheels off of Derrick Henry because he doesn't trust Ryan Tannehill, and then he doesn't really get anybody to supplant Tannehill. He gets the kid from Liberty, who I don't believe to take over, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Tannehill has the opposite problem of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson makes stupid decisions. Tannehill plays scared, and he's game manager.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Tennessee has enough to win this division. I think the Colts will be in it for most of it. Matt Ryan, year 1, new system, has the yips.
That's
doesn't
fair.
Doesn't have the yips as bad as Andy Dalton, but has the yips. And I'm going to see it. If the O-line doesn't play for him, this could be a worse season than they think in Indianapolis.
Yep.
I like Matt Ryan. Heck, I liked Carson Wentz with the Colts too, but they just couldn't finish a game. And that was their problem, is that everybody had them figured out because they only had one weapon on offense, and it's just throw it down the field.
Yep.
And, if you double that kid, it's going to be a long day. But I have Tennessee winning the division.
All right. Cool. So I'm the only one that took the Colts. So we got 2 Tennessees. All right, now we move over to what might be the best division. I don't even think it's a what might be. I think it is the best division in football. Loaded.
It's not statistically possible for all these teams to make.
I think it is. I think all 4 teams technically with 17. Yeah. Technically, all 3 wild cards could necessarily come from the same division. Technically. But we have the AFC West. I mean, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously. We have the Los Angeles Chargers, who loaded up with their young stud quarterback in Herbert. We have the Denver Broncos, who have a good young roster and just got Russell Wilson, just signed him to a massive contract extension yesterday. And then we have the Las Vegas Raiders, who just got a brand new coach in Josh McDaniels. They traded for Devontae Adams, arguably the best receiver in all of football. They still have Darren Waller. Derek Carr is a serviceable quarterback. I think maybe with Josh McDaniels and the weapons of adding someone of Adams, I think he could take a little bump up. I think he's better than most people give him credit for, Derek Carr. That's just my opinion. This division is loaded, absolutely loaded. Jeff, I'll lead with you. What are we thinking here with these teams? I mean, I think you can go any way.
Who is the Raiders' backup quarterback this year?
Oh,
it's Jarrett Stidham. Okay.
Oh, is that true?
Jared Stidham, baby.
From New England.
From New England, yeah, with Josh.
Former Patriot.
Yeah.
Because I think you're going to need the back. I don't think Carr's going to be able to make it this season. I just look. This is a murder, and I think this division is going to be like the old NFC Central matches of old, where it's just this division beats the crap out of each other. Mm-hmm. So that's the only reason why I don't think a lot of wild cards come out of this. Out of all these, Denver need to win this year or next year because they just blew their cap on Russell Wilson.
Yep.
But I don't think they have the horses to support Wilson, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego's a wild card to me because San Diego's mentally weak, and they have been. They lose games they shouldn't.
You mean
Los Angeles?
San Diego? What are you living in the past here?
No, they're always going.
I should just refer to the Chargers. And
I still call them San Diego.
I live in Los Angeles. I should know this. But you know what? They get no play out here. It's all Rams, all the time. Even
last year.
I thought.
Even before the Super Bowl. Even before the Super Bowl, they were playing out in Carson in the soccer stadium there, barely selling out, while the Rams were playing, I think, in the Rose Bowl or something, or the Coliseum. No, they were playing the Coliseum. The Rams were. Chargers couldn't get a whiff of that. This is still the Chiefs division. I think the Chiefs are much weaker without Tyreek Hill. Juju Schuster's fine, but not Tyreek Hill. He'll probably be smarter in terms of possession receiving. And that speed of Tyreek Hill, man, that was world changing for that offense, especially because they don't hold the ball long. 2 seconds, balls out, yards after catch. That's their offense. They run. Having seen it now up close and live for the AFC Championship game, I am amazed at their speed. I mean, they just go. Yep. And they have the horse to go. Andy Reid Andy Reid still has his clock management issues from time to time, but he has become a better coach as he's won the title. He has the monkey off his back. I think he's become a little bit more relaxed, and he lets his quarterback call the shots. I have the Chiefs still winning this, but it's going to be a dogfight every week for them.
All right. I do agree. I have the Chiefs winning as well. And obviously,
friends, Riles Mania.
Oh yeah, we got WrestleMania popping in here. We got Carrick, and they're probably expecting MLW, which we'll be getting to shortly.
Are we too over? I'm sorry.
No. We're good.
MLW coverage will be coming up soon. We're finishing up. We talk some wrestling for all the people here. We were talking Clash of the Castle, Worlds Collide, All Out. We went through all the picks, so drop your predictions in there. We're talking a little NFL if you're football fans. Just to round out the show, we got Jeff Hawkins here from Shake Them Ropes, the GOAT. Hello, thank you for the raid. Welcome in.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you for the raid.
Bobby
Thank you so much.
And Papa Smokes will be following us right after this.
Beauty. I do agree with Jeff. I think it's the Chiefs. You're never going to make up for losing someone of the caliber of talent, not person, but talent of Tyreek Hill. He's a top receiver. He has been for a while. However, And you are right. Juju Smith-Schuster is not Tyreek Hill. Valdez-Scantling is not Tyreek Hill. But I think if you're looking overall, I don't disagree, but we're talking American football, but I like me some soccer. I like me some soccer. I'm not going to hate on soccer. I think the depth of the wide receiver position for Kansas City is actually better now. You know, it was just Tyreek Hill and Kelsey with the occasional other person making a play. Now I think Mahomes actually has 4 or 5 legitimate options he can look at. Not, you know, you throw in CEH back there if he's healthy, things of that nature. So I actually think, again, there's going to be some sort of fallback without a guy with Tyreek Hill. He's a game changer. But I do think there's potential once they figure it out. Maybe it might take, you know, half the season or so, that Mahomes could actually, as crazy as it sounds, maybe not put up more crazier numbers, but he could actually be a better quarterback because he knows he doesn't have that guy. You know what I mean? Yes. It's kind of one of those things where like, oh, I lost this guy, but maybe I relied on this guy so much because he was there, but now he's not. So I'm going to become like just a better overall quarterback of reads and kind of looking for multiple things and stuff like that. I think it's still the Chiefs' division to lose. I'm not as bought in on the Chargers as everybody else. Like, yes, they're very good. They should be good. But like Jeff said, they haven't proven to me they can win. So until you prove to me you can win, I'm not going to pick you to win because I just, you know, I'm glad you like drop your picks, man. Yeah, we're talking about the AFC West right now. So I'm still going with the Chiefs. I agree with Jeff that I think it's their division to lose. I don't think it'll be easy with these 4 teams. They are going to beat the crap out of each other. But I do think the Chiefs still get it done. Pluggo, I'll let you round out.
You can drop your football picks, your wrestling picks. This is a pick'em extravaganza, baby. If I'm gonna go crazy, you know what? I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm just gonna say it to be different because I think, like you said, there's gonna be some beating up, and I think the Chiefs are at the tail end. I think they're still in the mix, but they're at the tail end of this dynasty run. I think the Chargers might sneak it out. I like a lot of the pieces. The defense with Khalil Mack coming in, I think that shores it up for him. I'd like to see – this is a big make or break for Herbert for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think they've definitely –
I don't know a lot about it either. I just make picks.
Oh, my God. I think this is a real make or break for – not make – I mean, he's still young enough. It's only his 3rd year. But this is the year with the weapons they've given him, and they beefed up the defense with Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. They, you know, with the weapons they have on offense, but I think like kind of how Jeff feels about his Bengals with the coach.
Shout out to Riles Mania for the sub. Appreciate you.
WrestleMania with
if you're in the chat, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're 4 follows away from our next goal of 700. So if you want to hit that follow button, that'd be awesome. If you got it, little extra, hit that subscribe. You can have a beautiful emojis. I'll drop them here in the comments of my face, JPJ's face. We should get a Jeff one made since he's here so much, spending all that money. But yeah, you can get these beautiful emotes that I just dropped in the chat.
All right.
That subscribe button. So we're going to move on to the NFL.
Before we move, Jeff, did you have a question?
Let's pick wild cards in the AFC champion.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Yeah. So, all right, Jeff, I'll let you go first. Who are your 3 wild cards, and then who do you have in the AFC championship?
I think the Bengals are a wild card coming out of the North. And then I'm going to go with I think the Colts are the odd man out here. I'm going to go with the Chargers and the Raiders, but making the playoffs in addition to the Chiefs.
Okay. Pluggo, your 3 wild cards?
I got the Ravens. I've got Denver and Kansas City.
All right. Yeah, because you picked Chargers to win the division, correct? Yeah. I think like the both of you, I have 3 teams coming out of the AFC West. I have my wild cards. Even though I don't necessarily fully believe in the Chargers, I do have them making the playoffs. So I have my 3 wild cards. You know, I want to get them right. I feel bad not picking the Patriots, but I just don't think it's happening. So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, and then I'm going to align with Jeff. I'm going to go Chargers and Raiders as my other 3. All right, so Jeff, I'll go back to you first. Who is your AFC championship game? And then we'll after we do the NFC, we'll talk about our Super Bowl. So
rematch, Chiefs Bengals. Or Bengals at Chiefs.
Okay. All right. Pluggo.
Rematch.
From last year, baby. Bengals made that run. So Jeff has Chiefs and Bengals. Pluggo, who is your AFC championship game?
Chargers, Bills.
Fair. Chargers, Bills. I'm going to go off.
Win it.
I'm going to go off the board a little bit here. I have it. I think it's going to be the Bills and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh. See,
I am in on the Raiders.
I love all of them. I think AFC is just going to be such good.
It's wide. So many teams can win. It is wide open. It's going to be fascinating what happens in there.
I had forgot about the Bills. I'm going to change my Bengals Bills.
Bengals Bills. Okay, very good. All right, I have the Bills and the
don't play with fire twice, Jeff.
My brother, the Chiefs season ticket holder, so that's what.
There you go. All right, let's move over to the NFC East. We have
let's run down this real quick. I love everybody that's here in the comments in the chat, but we got MLW coverage coming up. We keep it Jeff Hawkins way past overtime. That overtime bill was spending.
We got time. We're good. We have the NFC East. We have the Dallas Cowboys coming in as the favorites with the Philadelphia Eagles right behind them. And then we have the Washington Commanders and the New York Football
Danny
Giants.
Dimes.
Pluggo, I will let you lead this one. Who do you have coming out of the NFC East?
Did anybody see what's his name? What's that clown? Sims.
Oh, he's
he picked the Eagles to be the number.
I don't pay attention to him. I don't pay attention.
I think Dallas has too much talent to not be the number one team in this division. I don't think that I think it's the Cowboys are going to cowboy.
What does that mean? Really all I got. Be good in the regular season and then choke?
I think they'll make enough wins. The Commanders are in a rebuild. The Giants are in a rebuild. Clearly, I don't think they're sold on dimes. And the Eagles are going to be good. I think they're going to be much better with A.J. Brown. I just don't know if they have all the pieces there quite yet. It'll be see where Hurts is at. So, yeah, it's going to be the Cowboys. It's going to be like one of those another like 9-win, 10-win things.
Yeah. All right. I'm picking the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles to win this division. I do think Dallas will be around at the end, and maybe we'll talk about them when we get to the wild cards in the NFC. But I'm going with the Eagles. I like A.J. Brown a lot, and I think you add him across from Devontae Smith. It all depends on what Jalen Hurts does. It all depends on and Jalen Hurts, you can throw him into that type of quarterback that I don't like when I talk about Lamar Jackson. It worries me. For some reason, though, I will never trust the Dallas Cowboys, especially I think Mike McCarthy is not a good coach. I know he won a Super Bowl in Green Bay, but he had absolutely nothing to fucking do with that, in my opinion. And Jerry Jones is a whack job. And I'm not believing that Dallas is going to do anything until Dallas does something. So I'm leaning with the Eagles, and they're my pick to win. Jeff, I'll let you round this one out here.
Whoever wins this division is going to be below 500.
It's possible. They have flirted with that in the past multiple times.
This division is dog shit.
Yeah, not great.
Because the Giants and the Redskins stink, and they will always probably stink for the foreseeable future until they rebuild. And for the Redskins, for the Commander, a new ownership. I am going with the Eagles because of all the things you just said about the Cowboys. And I think the Tyron Smith injury is much bigger to the future of Prescott's health than anybody says. I don't think Mike McCarthy makes it through halfway through the season. And I think Mike Smith ends up taking over for him, their defensive coordinator, because that's been a kind of a narrative since last year, is that McCarthy's on the hot seat. Jerry Jones is nuts. I think the Cowboys are also kind of a team that's schizophrenic way and can't decide if they're good or if they're just barely getting by. I think make the coaching change and then make the wild card round, but I think the Eagles win the division.
All right. Yep. I obviously agree. All right, let's move over to the NFC North. We have the Green Bay Packers coming in as the overwhelming favorite. They are -170. And then we also have the Minnesota Vikings, the Detroit Lions, and the Chicago Bears. I think this is the biggest no-brainer for me personally. I do think the Packers will take a little bit step back on offense because you lose somebody like Devontae Adams. That's hard to replace. But I got the Packers winning this one.
Adam Lazard, baby.
Not a good player. The only reason he's known is because he has a really good quarterback. Not that good of a player. At least I don't see it. He might be now. He's the best guy, so he might have a good season. But
57.
What is he? 44? Yeah, exactly. But I'm going with the Packers. I think this is a no-brainer. I could see maybe the Vikings making a run here. But Kirk Cousins, no, sorry, that's not for me. I'm going with Green Bay. Pretty easily. Jeff, I'll lead it to you.
If the NFC East weren't so bad, this division would be dog shit.
Well, we're going to talk about another dog shit division coming right after this in the South.
Yeah, I mean, well, South is at least South has potential. At least, I mean, it's just depend. I mean, but they just don't know what they are. This one, nobody has a quarterback except Green Bay. Except Green Bay doesn't have anything other than a quarterback.
That's true.
It's Green Bay by default. Minnesota needs to rebuild for a year. Kirk Cousins ain't the guy.
Yep.
Chicago. You got to feel for Chicago because they just make the stupidest decisions.
Yeah. I mean, if Justin Fields can be good, they'll make some noise. But
who am I leaving out?
Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's who. Yeah, don't believe the Hard Knock push that they're better or something. Like that. You watch that. You watch that.
I will say. I said Dan Campbell.
I love Hard Knocks, and it makes me want to put on a set of pads and hit somebody or go to a wall. But you always watch and think that the team's much better than they are, and it's Detroit still. I think hopefully they'll win the one they're supposed to win, as opposed to, say, the Baltimore game where they just gave up in their head and gave up like 60 yards in like 7 seconds to get the field goal. But, yeah, it's Green Bay. There's nobody else.
All right. Pluggo?
I mean, the Bears are undefeated right now in the preseason, guys. No, I'm just kidding. Why play the games if they don't matter? I'm just kidding. Yeah.
What's your pick, Pluggo?
You guys have said I'm going to say Minnesota.
Okay. Trying to be different?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't
say they do have Kirk Cousins.
They got Cousins, but I like their offense with Cook and Jefferson but
they definitely have talented players. Thielen is still good for being an older receiver.
If things just happen to go south in Green Bay, I have this weird feeling about Aaron Rodgers is just a guy that knows that he just took $200 million from a team that he does not give a shit about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he cares. He is just vibing right now. So I don't know if it starts to go south or something happens that there's just not a lot of weapons for him. So we'll see.
All right. Rock and roll.
I'm going Vikings.
We will move over to the NFC South. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in as the overwhelming favorite at -280. And then they are followed by the New Orleans Saints, the Carolina Panthers, and the biggest odds in the league to win the Super Bowl, the Atlanta Falcons. Jeff, I will have you go first here. What are you thinking about the South and who comes out as the division champions?
The Buccaneers are going to win this division, but it's not going to be as easy as people think. I think the over-under is 11, and I would take the under on that.
Okay.
Brady's still Brady.
Yep.
Another year older, I get that, but he doesn't have as many weapons, I don't think. I mean, I think Gronk was a great outlet.
Mm-hmm.
He has some receivers there. I think one of the Saints or Carolina is going to surprise some people. I don't think they're going to be great, but I think they're going to be good. The Carolina could be good if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. Mm-hmm. Look, I don't like the Browns, but I liked Baker Mayfield.
I like Baker Mayfield too.
I like his heart. I like his leadership, and that can sometimes be enough.
Yep.
I love Baker Mayfield.
I like Baker Mayfield.
I mean, Cleveland's offensive line almost got him killed. I mean, if Carolina's competent and he has a running game to help him, Carolina can make some noise in this division. The Saints are always good, but not great. So you never know with this. I mean,
the Saints are kind of Brady's kryptonite too. He's like, he hasn't beaten them at least in the regular season. He hasn't beaten them at all. He's 0-4.
I think it might possibly the worst thing in the world for the Panthers to do well this year, because I think they want to get rid of Matt Rule and get Sean Payton in there. But this is the Buccaneers, easy, but they have a monster schedule this year. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think. And they're going to lose a couple, and you might hear some things on the ESPN shows in the morning go, what's wrong with the Bucs? Because I don't believe in their coach as much as I did Bruce Arians in terms of leadership and play calling and stuff. I know that a former Jacksonville quarterback who's their offensive coordinator right now.
Byron Leftwich.
I think he's a good play caller.
Yeah.
I just don't see Todd
Bowles
as head. he was okay with the Jets and he overproduced, but that was mostly defense. And this is an offense-minded team for the most part. Their defense is good, but it's not great. And they also have injuries on the offensive line too, which is always a problem. So,
yep. All right. I am in agreement. I do think it is the Buccaneers division, but it's a bad one. I do think the Saints, I would lean more Saints than Panthers because I don't know if I fully believe in Matt Rule in an NFL capacity. So I think the Saints could make some noise if Jameis Winston he was pretty good last year before he got banged up. Like, he wasn't terrible. And Michael Thomas coming back. If he's healthy, he's a top receiver in the league. Obviously, losing Sean Payton on the sideline matters, but they were all right last year. I could see the Saints making a run, but I'm going with the Buccaneers. Pluggo, I'll let you round it out before we move to the NFC West. And then
I'm only going with the Buccaneers because they know they don't have to do much this year to get it done.
Yeah, I think so.
And I like Carolina a little bit.
I had 20 years of it, but I think Brady is at a certain level, regardless of being 45 now, that like he can kind of wake up and be 10-7 or 11.
If he misses any time though, they're fucked.
Oh yeah. But I think
they know just get in the playoffs. And
just get in the playoffs and make it. Like when the year that they won, they were on the road that's what it was. Hey, just get there, and we got the guy that knows how to win in these type of situations. So, all right, we move over to the NFC West. We have the Los Angeles Rams as the favorite with the San Francisco 49ers right on their heels. And then we also have the Arizona Cardinals, who were a playoff team last year. And then now the lowly Seattle Seahawks with no Russell Wilson. I'll go first this time. I actually think the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this division. I don't know if it'll be Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance, but I think we'll figure it out at some point. I think they are the Rams are super talented, don't get me wrong, but I worry about Stafford. I think that back, he won the Super Bowl last year. He got his crowning moment because he's been a good quarterback for a long time, but he's banged up. He's injured coming into the season.
Played for Detroit for 10 years.
Get your ass kicked for 10 years 30. With no offensive line. So I think the 49ers, I like Shanahan as a coach. I think his offense is dynamic. Deebo Samuel might be one of the most dynamic people in the league. So I'm leaning 49ers. And then why don't we go to Pluggo and we'll let Jeff finish it up and then he can go with his wild cards.
There's a reason Jimmy Garoppolo is still in San Francisco.
Because I don't think Trey Lance ain't ready yet, probably.
That's what I'm thinking, right? But that's the problem. You've got two quarterbacks, you've got no quarterbacks.
Jimmy made a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah, but I also know that this front office really wants Trey Lance to be the guy. They wouldn't have did everything they did to draft him. So I worry about that, but they are a really good team. I think the Rams, Arizona looks good without D-Hop the first 6 games. I don't think that's ultimately going to be a big deal for them. I think they'll figure it out and he'll come back and be healthy for the 11th game. I think this division outside of Seattle is probably more competitive than we're giving it credit, but ultimately at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Arizona pulling out the division.
All right. It's just the way the league goes. You got to, they paid Kyler Murray a lot of money. But after that playoff performance last year, I don't think I can ever believe in that guy again until he shows me a reason to, because that was one of the most dreadful performances I have ever seen. That guy did not want to be there from the opening fucking kickoff, and it was embarrassing. And if he would have came into me, if I was the owner of Arizona, and I get it, it's the way the league works. You got to pay these guys if you want to keep them. I get it. If he would have came into me and been like, well, I'm not playing for that, I'd be like, all right, well, what fucking team you want to go to? I'll trade your ass.
Let's go to baseball.
That's embarrassing.
Go play in Oakland.
Go play with the A's.
His performance in that playoff game was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. He openly was not trying, and I would have fucking cut his ass after that. Honestly,
I just think the Rams. I think the Rams are in a similar situation like Tampa Bay, where it's like, let's just get there.
The front office. They got the coach. They got exactly.
They'll just let's get there and we'll figure it out. So we don't necessarily have to win the division. And like you said, it doesn't really matter because if the Cardinals win the division, it's Kyler Murray.
Brutal. Anyway, Jeff, I'll let you round it out. Who you think's going to win the NFC West, and then you can dive right into your wild card teams for the NFC as well.
Allow me to agree with you, JPJ. Kyler Murray's an absolute fraud.
Unbelievable.
I watched that game.
I watched that game and I was football. Like, yeah, because he's a fantasy football quarterback.
Let me tell you something. He had the easiest assignment in the world because Colt McCoy did and got him into the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's Zach Ertz. He's always open. He's your release tight end out there 6 yards into the flat.
It was
open every play, and instead he just wants to heave it to whoever's number one receiver, be it D-Hop or whoever they put out there. He can't do simple reads and simple check downs because he's a stat whore, and stat whores don't last too long in the NFL. See Colin Kaepernick. And speaking of Colin Kaepernick, I think San Francisco has an opposite Kaepernick Smith situation here, where Trey Lance is going to be playing for a while.
Yep.
And then the game's going to catch up to him. He sat on the bench for a while, but it's still, when you're out there, it's a little different, and it takes time for the game to slow down. And I think Garoppolo takes him to the promised land in terms of the playoffs eventually. Mm-hmm. Because remember, this San Francisco Niners team was one dropped interception, easy interception that Matt Stafford always gives you per game from going to the Super Bowl, which broke my heart because I wanted the rematch trio of the Bengals versus the Niners.
Yeah.
Which I wanted desperately.
Yeah.
And I think the Rams are still good, but not great. They had some lapses last year, including that last drive in the title game, which they should have lost. They should have lost that game. Yep. But because I think people overpraise Stafford. I think Stafford's good, but he's not. He was never a Hall of Fame quarterback. I gotta be honest with you. I like him. I think he's solid, but he's never a QB1 to me. He was a QB.
Yeah.
I mean, he was never franchise. He was QB1. And Seattle, no. I don't see it.
If they win the division, I'm gonna.
I mean, they're plus 2,500.
This would be the funniest time to do it, wouldn't it? Or to make a playoff run where it's nobody believes them, and there's that team that comes out of nowhere.
Drew leading them to the
Shout out to Dare Amazing. Welcome to the chat, friend.
Yeah, thank you. I know you're usually expecting MLW at this point, but we are finishing up here.
NFC wildcard picks.
Let's go.
I'll go with the Cowboys making it in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Rams making it in. Oh my goodness! I think I'm going to go with the Saints.
Okay,
I think the Saints make the tournament as that seventh seed.
All right, rock and roll.
Because I can't go with the Cardinals.
I'll let you. Pluggo. I'll let you pick your wild cards, and then we'll go with our NFC Championship.
Packers and Rams.
Eagles, Packers, and Rams. All right, rock and roll. I have the Dallas Cowboys making it. I have the Los Angeles Rams making it, and even though I don't believe in Kirk Cousins, I got the Vikings sneaking in there. I do like Justin Jefferson. I do like Cook. I even think the backup Madison is good. Yeah, I just don't believe in Kirk Cousins, but I think he's good enough, and like he's a stat guy too. He's good enough to get you there. He's good enough to get you to the playoffs.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
NFC title game, kids.
All right, NFC title game for me, and I know we kind of. I have the San Francisco 49ers going against the Green Bay Packers. That's what I
have. This one is hard to pick. I'm going to go Eagles, Packers.
Okay.
I don't love it.
I'm going to go Niners, Buccaneers.
Okay. That's a good one.
Bucks are going to get back. Okay.
All right. So we will let our guest lead. What is your Super Bowl matchup, and who is your Super Bowl champion? Tell me.
Bengals versus Niners.
He wants it so bad.
With the Bengals, and I will be there in Arizona if it happens. I lost my Super Bowl this year. I was there live. It's heartbreaking. Garoppolo is a great redemption story to get him to the big dance. And I want the Niners to lose to the Bengals finally and redeem my childhood. That is my pick. I'm sticking with it.
All right.
I kind of just screwed myself with my off-the-wall pick.
Yeah. Pluggo. All right. So who's your
I guess
Super
I
Bowl
gotta
pick?
go. I guess I have to go like Eagles, Bills.
All right.
In the Super Bowl.
Bills.
And I don't want.
That's happy ending too. If the Bills blow out somebody in a Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right. And then who is your Super Bowl champion?
It'd be the Bills.
Buffalo Bills. Wow.
I think
first time ever? Would that be first time ever? Right? For them? They've never won. All right. Well, you both have a team. You both pick teams that I have in my Super Bowl. My Super Bowl is the San Francisco 49ers versus the Buffalo Bills. That's what I have. And I have, like Pluggo, and I hate this as a Patriots fan.
I know.
The Bills are the only team in the division that I really don't despise. I've always hated the Dolphins and I've always hated the Jets, but the Bills have just always been like whatever to me.
Their fan base is just too cool to hate.
Yeah, they're too passionate. They're fun. Like I can't hate the Bills, and Josh Allen is tremendous.
4 Super Bowls in a row that they lose. I mean, just kind of
brutal. However, Buffalo as a city, shit. But anyway, it's a dump. But anyway, I have, like Pluggo, I have the Buffalo Bills defeating the San Francisco 49ers to win the Super Bowl. And that concludes this almost 3-hour affair. We knew we had a lot of things to pick.
Yes. I could talk forever.
No, it wasn't even that. We knew we had a lot of things to pick. We had 84 wrestling matches to pick. Mm-hmm. We had football. This was important stuff. It was in a pick'em extravaganza for a reason.
And luckily for us, Bobby and Papa Smokes rule, and we'll always.
They're always like, "Hey, we'll go whenever you finish. Like, we're cool." Like, so praise to them. I know everybody hopped in. They're going to be coming soon. We want to thank Jeff for joining us. He's kind of our football guest, so whenever we want to have football topics, we're going to try to get him on here. But that was a lot of fun. All the picks. We have Alex wrote them all down, so we'll share them on the social medias at some point this coming week so they can be out there for everyone to see. But Jeff, plug your stuff. Let people know where they can find you, where to follow you. Get your stuff in, my friend.
Sure. At Game13 on the Twitter. I mostly snark and make bad jokes about wrestling, but it's a fun time had by some. I do a show called Shake the Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network with Chris Novembrino. Kind of a little bit of snarky take on stateside wrestling. We'll be previewing all these cards as well, so I'll try and remember what I said here. In addition to any news, including Bobby Fish not being resigned by AEW, et cetera, et cetera. I am also, after All Out on Sunday night, going to be joining on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel, I believe. Power Bombshells will be having a post show because I do a show on Fight Game Media called The Dynamite Show, and just us deconstructing the Dynamite Show about 15 minutes after it goes off. Myself and Paul Ace Fontaine. And listen to that for $5 a month at Fight Game Media or at patreon.com/Fight Game Media. A lot of other shows and interests there, mostly dealing with like Impact and stateside wrestling individual shows there. But thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. And I'm here to talk the pigskin, be it college or pro, anytime you like.
Love it.
Do you think my Irish have a shot this weekend?
No. Maybe. Who knows? Is it at home?
I'm asking Jeff.
Are they on the road? Are they in Ohio? Or are they at home?
It's in Ohio State.
Could be tough.
I hate Notre Dame's fan base, I'm sorry to say. But because you played tennis there too. But I think you have a chance because it's early. Because Ohio State hasn't figured out who they are yet. And that's always the best time to catch. Once you get later in the season, they start getting better and they start getting full of themselves and start thinking national championship until they choke. Yep. And then I think in trouble. I think now I think you have a decent shot to beat them. I don't think you have a great shot, but I think you have a decent shot.
There you go. Pluggo.
All right. Well, I'm at Pluggo. You can find me on all of the socials with this beautiful face. Just look up Pluggo. You'll see me. Before I plug anything else, I want to say happy birthday to my oldest, Colin. He turns 14 on Sunday.
All righty.
Love you, son. I'm super proud of you. I can't wait to celebrate this weekend with you. So had to say that. And then, of course, you can follow us at B2Beards on all the social medias as well. That's where you'll find all of our picks, all of our upcoming things we got going on, yada, yada, yada. It's a big weekend of wrestling, so stay tuned to our socials. Consider following us if you don't mind.
Fun weekend on the Twitter for wrestling takes.
Oh my god, yeah. It's gonna be a big one. Before I get into me, I do want to thank some of our sponsors, RK Athletics. You see in the corner. You can follow them on RK Athletics 1 on all social medias if you're looking for personal training, meal plans. Just Rich King and the gang over there are the top of the top. So go give them a holler, give them a follow at RK Athletics 1 if you are looking for some personal training and to better yourself physically. And then also, you got to go to manscaped.com. You got to put in that promo code Love Wrestling. You'll get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping worldwide. Where's that, Pluggo?
Everywhere, baby.
Everywhere. Worldwide. Don't matter
even
where you
Jeff's
live.
At in Los Angeles, where I'm at in Indiana, out there in Massachusetts, over in Antarctica, everywhere. Baby.
Everywhere. You'll get free shipping plus 20% off. That is at manscaped.com with the promo code Love Wrestling. Tell them we sent you there. Tell them you're loving our little partnership that we have with them. Again, you can follow me right here on Joseph_Poulin Jr. on the Twitter machine. You can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming over on Twitch, where I'm playing a lot of video games, having some fun. But most importantly, you can find me here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with Pluggo for Between Two Beards. Again, Jeff, we want to thank you for being on here. We appreciate it. Always a great time having you on. So we appreciate you being here. And until next Thursday, for Jeff, for Pluggo, I'm JPJ. Peace out.
Keep it right here for MLW coverage right after this, baby.
What he said. Peace.
Look at yourself now, and you're progress. I'm only taking 12 steps.